So I'm going through. I think I'm on TikTok last night, and I see a Letterman top 10 list of top 10 hockey pickup lines, which whatever. But the irony is, it's all the guys in Nagano. Remember the trouble that team got in?
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was funny because it was right before the Olympics. So they were over there, and they did it, but I was just like, huh.
That's funny. They finished like 7th and trashed the place.
Right. David, these texts are limited by characters. I think like 130 characters is the most I can get.
Oh, no, not the college baseball guy.
David, I'm just going to tell you how many. All I said, because he wanted the dome. I said, I will bet no one will build a dome for college baseball in my lifetime. The sport doesn't generate money. Even in the South, only a few programs are profitable. Then I sent him another one. In fact, a quick search, only 4 college baseball teams are profitable. I don't think $500 million for a dome is doable. Response: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 full. Like, I know he sent it as 1, but it comes as 14. Like, dude, enough. That's great. I got to double check this. This is my favorite text, though. I got a Sabres fan that texts me. And it's usually "we suck today, Sabres 500." That's all it says. They got it back to 500. He's pumped. Which means
you're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Tuesday before Thanksgiving, the last day of 49 in a row with football. What will we do tomorrow? How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. I come at you from the West Coast and not of Florida. That's where Mark is. After Monday Night Football last night, which was a bit of a slog, but at least it went by quickly. How are you, Mark?
I think at this moment in time, I'm a little better than you. I'm a little more well-rested. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's only 6:02, not 3:02, and I can hear it in your voice that you're already ready for a nap.
Not going to get one today, at least not till the plane.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. When the show's done, we got to pack up, get in the car, and head north to San Francisco during morning rush.
That seems like a fun ride.
Don't worry. I'll have about 7 hours in the air. I'll have plenty of time to sleep.
Get that aisle seat and make sure no one bumps you.
No doubt about it.
Get over. Well, we both, it was a Monday night game. It's not part of our docket. It doesn't count in the standings for Miller and Moulton, but we both liked the San Francisco 49ers And we both said to lay the points last night, a 20-9 victory. Of course, that's a win for you, but not for us. And San Francisco, David, just keeps on keeping on. I mean, they're a team, I did not stay up for the whole game, but I don't know how many times in the first half that graphics were put up on the screen about how many games have been lost between the pregame and the game, how many games that the Niners have lost due to the players that have been out and players that continue to be out and players that'll be out for the rest of the season. And it's relevant. It's very relevant. But this team just keeps on keeping on. They played like last night, and they won. Purdy was awful, and they won.
The explosiveness from them is gone, though. They're a grinded-out team. Doesn't mean they can't beat anybody, but their margin for error is very small. They used to get those explosive plays, from Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. Well, Deebo's no longer with them, and, Ayuk has seemingly played his last game with them. They get very few yards after the catch, except for Kittle, who is still young enough that he's like Kelsey 3-4 years ago, where not only can he get himself open, he then gets – we had a great graphic last night. He has more yards after the catch than he does before the catch in his career. I mean, it's close, but he actually has more yards after the catch than before it. And only Kelsey has had more yards over the last X number of years than Kittle. But Mark, they're 8-4, and they have a very favorable schedule the rest of the way if they get no more crushing injuries. And Mark, they're basically a two-man team at this point. Kittle and McCaffrey. They don't have an explosive pass rusher at all. All right. They don't have the dynamic linebacker at all. They have one developing corner who looks as if he could be somebody they're going to have to pay down the road. They are averaging 3.5 yards a rush. That's it. Okay. Yet they're 8-4.
Right. And, the next 2 weeks, Cleveland, bye week, but by the way, a week 14 bye for this team is ideal, because they're a team that's going to need some rest down the stretch. But at the Browns, home for the Titans, before 3 games against potential playoff teams, the Colts on the road, the Bears at home, and home for Seattle to finish the season. But if they get the next 2, that's 10. And even if they were to lose 2 of the next 3, the big one is at the end of December against the Chicago Bears at home. I mean, that could be a wild card berth. Chicago still thinks they can win the division, but that's the game that the Packers, Niners, Lions, and Bears are all interested in the San Francisco schedule. Because if San Francisco can take care of business against 2 lowly teams in Tennessee and Cleveland, that gets them to 10. That gives them a pretty good shot at getting in. And I like how you explained who the Niners are, David, because you're right. Their margin for error is slim, but they're very well coached.
Mm-hmm.
And on their best day, they can take out anyone in the NFC. I don't believe they can get to an NFC title game. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender, because I don't think they can do it 3 consecutive times in the postseason. But they can do it once, given the right matchup and the right day, David.
And Kyle Shanahan, when he gets a Niners team to the playoffs, has had great success in the playoffs, and they've done most of their damage on the road, which they figured to be a wild card team this year because they're 2 back in the loss column with the Rams, and they're done playing the Rams. So the Niners look to be a 6 or a 7 seed, but right now they are, I believe, the 7.
They are the 7 right now. They are behind Green Bay percentage points at 8-4, and Seattle right now is the 5 seed.
Right. So think about that. In the NFC, you have to be 8-4 before Thanksgiving to make the playoffs. The 7-4 Lions are out right now.
But
I believe if you look at the loss column in terms of conference standings, that San Francisco has the edge on Detroit. Could be wrong. Okay, but I believe they have the edge. And
but the
that's what it
bigger
could come
news
down to.
for Tampa is that Carolina lost.
Yes.
And Tampa now in first place in the division that they would have lost last night had Carolina won.
Mark, not only did Carolina lose, but they entered the game without their starting center and without two linebackers. They ended the game without their right guard, without both corners, and without a defensive lineman. Boy, did the Panthers get hit by injuries. And now remember, a shorter week, and they play the Rams next.
So as we start looking ahead to week 13, a lot of playoff teams with some playoff teams and teams wanting to make the playoffs with some critical games. It is a monster. At this point of the year, it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyhow, just to be repetitive. It's a monster week pretty much every week the rest of the way in the NFL.
However, that Niners at Browns game has a little more juice to it because, well, Shador Sanders will get another start. Even though Dylan Gabriel was cleared yesterday from concussion protocol, Shador Sanders will get the start at home for the Browns. And remember, the Niners have to block Cleveland's front line. And San Francisco has gone into Cleveland recently with better teams than this and lost. So, little more juice in that Niners at Browns game. And as Mark mentioned, San Francisco staggering to their bye. McCaffrey with 31 touches last night. And now they're going to have a short week and go on the road. 31 touches.
89 on the ground, 53 through the air. He's a machine.
Yep. I mean,
because he's had injuries in his career, and even David's been guilty this year. Well, he's still healthy. Yes, he is still healthy.
This year he is. But it's remarkable, Mark, at 20-9, and in the final 3 minutes of that game, and they needed one first down to ground out the clock, and he still sends McCaffrey out there for 3 more touches. Won't even put the backup in, up 11 with 3 minutes to go, needing one first down. Nope. He gets McCaffrey beat up even a little bit more.
And that's the way they have to operate, unfortunately. There's no trust of anyone else. The depth is not there.
Nope.
Where there was depth, they've had injuries, and they've lost guys for the year. So we've talked about it for a while. It's an offensive line that's not very good.
Yeah, it's okay.
Average
maybe.
Offensive line.
But that's what was on display last night. And Carolina, quite frankly, the NFC South is going to come down to 2 meetings between the Panthers and the Bucs. And Carolina likely, unless they pull a major surprise this Sunday and beat the Rams at home, Carolina likely will have to sweep the Bucs. Because what is working in Carolina's, Tampa Bay's favor is that Carolina home loss to the Saints, which means that Tampa with a split against the Panthers will have a better division record.
Tampa right now 2-0 in the division. Carolina 2-1. So a lot to be determined in the NFC South, but a win last night for San Francisco was a win for Tampa Bay. It just works out that way. We'll see if the Bucs can stagger their way to the finish line, where they'll be probably 3 wins behind Seattle in a 4-5 game. For sure, 2. And more than likely be I think a 4 to 5 point underdog in a home wild card round game if they play Seattle.
But they did beat them earlier in the year, and there is always the Sam Darnold factor.
Miller and Moulton. We have more guests because we have a shorter week. But it is a Tuesday. That means Pat Kirwan will join the show to talk all things National Football League. JP Shadrick has a hell of a week. He's got the Jags game, obviously, this weekend. But what, he's working the Cowboys and Chiefs on Thanksgiving. He's got the Iron Bowl on Friday. So JP will join us, and LaPhonso Ellis to talk college hoop on Miller and Moulton. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but two elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Aurora, I love a good hug. I give good hugs. It's what I've been told, and not just by my wife.
Hey now.
Apparently, at wakes and funerals, I'm the guy to go to. You need a good hug, I'm the guy. Somebody has to bring their A game to a wake and a funeral. Exactly. I'm a manatee. That's what I am in my later years, coffin ball. How'd you like San Diego? And did you stay after your time in the Navy was up? I'm assuming it is up. Right. Right. Right, EB. I'm a hugger, just not a good bro hugger. Wow. Got the big block letters out early. Loved it. Okay.
Oh, San Francisco's such a great city, or San Diego rather. When were you there, Aurora?
I guess she was in the Navy.
I gathered that, but that's not where or when.
I know. I have never spent any time in San Diego. I have been for a game, but I've never.
You used to work at the French Laundry, Javier? Wow. 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 I'm impressed by that. I can say I don't need emails on the damn Gators anymore. We need to talk about the French Laundry. Holy cow. I just am impressed by all the gardens around it, watching like the people pick the food that they're going to cook that day. I saw pictures of a meal there when I was in Napa for my honeymoon. Another couple at our bed and breakfast stayed there and showed us pictures of their dinner or lunch or whatever the hell they had.
Yeah, go Raiders. Taps gets me every time.
Chicken wings on Sunday. I had a mishap. My smoker damn near blew up on me.
Oh.
I had my jerk wings on the smoker, did 45 minutes, and I went to crank the heat to crisp them, and my smoker was ablaze. It's a knockoff Traeger. It was on. All of a sudden, I look. It's at 770 degrees. I had to shut the thing off. I got flames everywhere. I mean, everywhere. I was a little nervous. I do clean the coffin ball. It's clean now. Every little thing that was attached to it burned off, for crying out loud.
Well, go Raiders. Is that the last contemporary of his that was alive? Yes, I will say it's in a.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Do we have school in Florida this week? Is today the last day of school and then tomorrow's the day off? I mean, does it depend on where you live?
I don't know the answer because my daughter no longer attends public schools. We go to a different school. She's off all week. So I don't know what I think the public schools are off because she's hanging out with a friend today, and I don't believe that friend goes to. I know she doesn't go to the same school as my daughter, but so I think they're off all week. I think down here they get the whole week off.
Yeah,
that would be great. I have to be honest. As a kid, that would have been cool.
Yeah, we didn't have that.
No, we went to school on Wednesday. You got
yes, we did.
Off.
Yes, we did. Right, we got a 4-day weekend. We thought it was a great week,
greatest thing in the world. I still do. I walked in yesterday morning, and the lady that works at the station. There's multiple stations in the building that I'm in, and the gal that's next door. I said, "Hey, welcome to the short week. I love this week," and we were all excited about a 3-day work week.
And love for someone in Huntsville to let us know. 21,000 is the text line. Keyword Miller. If you never have before, let us know what the school situation is there this week. So, yeah, it's a fun week, even if you are working, if you will. You're probably only working 3 days at most.
Made the daughter come with me yesterday. I've mentioned this before on air, but I found a guy that's a stone crab fisherman. And this weekend, after the night after the bird, because the family's going to be in town, I had to go see Big Jimmy and pick up some stone crabs yesterday and some mustard and collard greens, David. Got to have some greens for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
And he has a farm, and this guy goes nuts. And so I was with mom and dad yesterday picking up my greens and my stones, but I brought the daughter with me. She was so excited because she got her phone back, and now she doesn't want to speak to me anymore. And I said, come on, you're coming with me. You got to go for a ride. Leave the phone, basically. But I let her DJ because it was about a 30-minute ride. And usually she has to listen to my music. I said, you know what? Here, play your songs. Let it rip. You can DJ all the way there. She was very happy. I still don't like her music, and she still doesn't like mine. We have a few that we can agree on. Mostly some of her pop stuff that I'm okay with. But this is tough for me. See, my son listened to The Rock with me right from day one. Still listens. And now he and I, hey, have you heard this band? If there's this new song by the Red Clay Strays is phenomenal. So I played that for her. She actually liked it. I'm like, wow, we're getting somewhere. I played one more song. She went, what is that? In fact, she likes pop music. There was an old pop song. Song was number 1 on the charts. I looked it up for 10 weeks. TLC, Waterfall, R&B song was
right.
I like that song. I'm not much of a pop R&B guy, but there are certain songs that are just good. I put that song on, turned it up a little bit. And my daughter's like, that's the worst thing I've ever heard. That's terrible. That's pop. That is just awful, Dad.
Yeah, well, it was number 1 for 10 weeks, honey.
10 weeks,
all right.
number 1. Yep. Couldn't get it off fast enough.
Hey, she came through for you. She came through for you.
She did deliver.
All right.
She did deliver. I got a call from a buddy yesterday who said his parents sent him a text late on his anniversary, and like 7, 8 o'clock, and he's sitting on the couch next to his wife, and he's like, oh no. He had completely forgotten it.
Wow.
And he goes, they had 3 kids, and they got life, and they're busy, and they work, and it was like a Monday, Tuesday, same thing for me. And he said, yep. I leaned over. She said, I said, were you just going to let this go all day? She goes, oh yeah, absolutely.
Man, I don't know how you come back from that. Like, the statute of limitations on forgetting your anniversary, I think, is forever.
Right. She could not notice a haircut for the rest of my life, and she is still in the right.
Oh, yeah.
Still, yeah, you can't forget.
No. 15 years from now, you would have done or said something, and she would have stopped and go, you forgot our anniversary, right? I mean, you've got nothing for that.
What are you in more trouble for? Forgetting a birthday or forgetting an anniversary?
Oh, I think an anniversary. That's my gut feeling. I really do. I think because every now and then, or at least my wife, it's kind of like, listen, I don't need anything for my birthday. Because sometimes in life, you will actually get someone something. You'll buy them something a month earlier. Okay. They really wanted something and you get it. And it's kind of like, hey, and they'll even be the one to say, how about that's my birthday present? Yeah, sure. Fine. But plus every now and then, Mark, people can be quirky about their birthdays. I don't want to celebrate it this year. Sometimes it's like, oh no, I feel old if we celebrate my birthday. I want to be.
You're absolutely right there, David. My wife did not want to celebrate her 50th birthday. It was not in fact, it was a depressing birthday, and not because of hitting 50. Her dad passed when he was 50 years old, and she was a teenager in college. She was 19. And her dad was 50 when he passed. And she's like, I want to celebrate 51. She goes, that's the big one for me. My dad didn't make it to 51.
Gotcha.
We can do something great for 51. For 50, I don't want to do a damn thing. And I was like, wow. Because, I mean, obviously it's a big, it's the round number. It's the big when 50 years old. And she's like, yeah, nothing.
Oh, interesting.
But it had nothing to do with, being upset about turning 50.
No.
It was just... It brought up a lot of bad memories for her. So I get it. I think we could put it up as a poll question, but then again, what do we really know? Most of the people responding to the poll question are men. So if we answer anniversary or birthday, do we really know? Although I think it's time to start getting to, side dishes and things like that.
I do too.
It is Thanksgiving time for a poll question. Because I think we went through the whole show yesterday without a poll question.
No, we did. Well, we did so many last week, to be honest with you. We thought we had a mulligan yesterday. Never mind, we had an overreaction Monday after a whole lot of football that went on. So we gave ourselves a hall pass yesterday. This is our show. I mean,
I agree.
But the poll question is not sponsored yet. Okay. We're giving ourselves a hall pass while we can, because hopefully coming soon, well, we'll be contractually obligated.
So
Miller and Moulton on this Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and tonight is night 49. We have had 49 consecutive nights of football. Tomorrow, there will be no football on television.
Boy, and what games we get tonight and today. I mean, the Bliss starts at 4:30 with UMass hosting Bowling Green.
Come on, UMass trying for the perfect season.
They're getting 15.5 at home. And then some directionals, Eastern and Western Michigan, the nightcap at 7:30. Boy, oh boy, I can't wait for some action.
Just saying, though, some of you need to see helmets and shoulder pads every day. Today and tonight is day 49 in a row. There will be none of that tomorrow. So there. And then it's a football extravaganza. Triple header of NFL on Thursday. There's a Black Friday game, and a good one too, Bears-Eagles. And then rivalry Saturday. And there's college football on Thanksgiving and Black Friday also. And rivalry Saturday before we get to a regular Sunday of NFL. So an awful lot going on. And I love this weekend in college. I love everything about it.
I may pull a Moulton and bet every game. But you're right, David. It's a great weekend of college football. The starting five, that's what we do next on Miller and Moulton. Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton
So, David, I know you follow this stuff a lot more closely than I do, but Baltimore's losing their play-by-play announcer again in baseball. Didn't they just lose a guy 2 years ago?
No, they suspended him for a couple days over an incident, but
Jeff Arnold's leaving Baltimore.
is he going to work for?
It doesn't say. It just says departing Baltimore's chief coverage ahead of 2026. Guy that I retweeted. A guy I did a podcast with many years ago that I still follow on X retweeted it with comments.
Oh, they are cheap.
That's what I
Should have got that going for him, which is nice. Oh, crap.
flight stuff or
Yeah. I had to book the rest of my season travel. They wouldn't let us book it till we knew that all our games were locked in. I don't think we're switching out of the game the rest of the way. Huh. Yeah, I'll pay for that. Yes, and he wasn't happy about it, Canada leave.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan will join us in a little more than an hour. JP Shadrick to talk Jags, Chiefs, Cowboys, the Iron Bowl. That's just his week. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. LaPhonso Ellis. I don't think we've ever had the Fonz on before. He will join us. Oh, dating yourself just a bit. But
well, there wasn't a
LaPhonso
jukebox
Ellis
to turn on with my hand.
will join us, talk a little college hoop. Big week of college hoop. He's in Southwest Florida to call the two games on FS1 tonight. Carolina, St. Bonaventure, Michigan State, East Carolina. He's in town for those. Then I think he heads home for Thanksgiving. And then another play-by-play and analyst come in for the Thursday games, I believe.
So
On Big
FS1
Fox.
today for the day-night doubleheader, and then Big Fox on Thursday.
Yep.
You were right. You said it yesterday towards the end of the show. A lot of college hoop yesterday. A lot of good games.
Terrific.
One of them was at 4:32. I've got to be honest with you. I mean, the Johnnies and Iowa State run at 4:30. It was spectacular.
And they gave you a 1-point game, too.
Oh, back and forth the whole second half. Fun game.
Very quickly, before we get to the starting five, the Big East is getting crushed in non-conference play. Have you seen their record? It's something like 3-15. I mean, and the big boys, too, have lost. I mean, UConn lost at home to Arizona. Okay, this was a neutral court game for St. John's, but they lost a home game at the Garden to Alabama. The Big East is getting destroyed.
Well,
in
the Big
non-conference.
Ten's been very good.
It has, okay, although one very big win for the Big East yesterday, which hadn't happened all year for anybody. We'll get to that in
The starting five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the starting five.
We'll start, of course, with the NFL. San Francisco, it was workmanlike, 20-9 over Carolina. Panthers are 6-6, a half a game behind Tampa Bay in the NFC South. The Niners improved to 8-4 with the win. Carolina's defense did their part. I mean, held San Fran to 20, picked off Purdy 3 times in the first half. Carolina lost 4 players to injury during the game, and they were missing 3 starters before the game. Niners defense picked off Bryce Young twice, sacked him, held Carolina to just 230 total yards. Remember, the week before against Atlanta, he threw for nearly 450. McCaffrey touched the ball, rushing and receiving 31 times, amassed 142 yards and a touchdown. Carolina hosts the Rams. San Francisco goes to Cleveland, where they will face Shador Sanders and the Browns. The 5th-round pick named the starter, even though Dylan Gabriel, who was the starter, was removed from concussion protocol. Browns with back-to-back home games. I said it yesterday, Mark. I think, what are they, 3 for the season, the Browns? I think you got to give the home fans, a little meat to the lions here. Give them Shador Sanders and back-to-back starts, and then decide what you want to do for the final 3 games after that. And
Absolutely. What has Dylan Gabriel really shown? Does he look like he can be the future?
No.
He might be able to be a backup someday, but he doesn't look like. But it's hard to say because Caleb Williams in his first games didn't look good either. Now he looks like he can play. Drake May didn't look good in his first games. Now it looks like he's really good. Go on.
Right. Speaking of J.J. McCarthy, he's in concussion protocol. We have no idea if that happened during the game against Green Bay or if it was some of the teammates on the flight home. Hello. Anyway, Minnesota is 4-7, and they visit Seattle Sunday, and they may have to do it with Max Brosmer at quarterback, the former Gopher standout. Justin Tucker, we had just talked about this, that his suspension was up and who would give him a shot. Well, the Saints gave the 36-year-old a tryout. We'll see if anything comes of it. The Bucs say it's a low-grade AC joint sprain of the left shoulder for Baker Mayfield. Okay. All I know is it knocked a very tough guy out of the game. Doesn't sound like a low-grade AC joint sprain to me. Yes, I'm questioning the injury report, because if you're going to lie about somebody on the NFL injury report, you lie about your starting quarterback. Joe Burrow expected to play Thanksgiving night for the Bengals as they visit the Ravens. College football, we had just talked about this. The deadline was coming up. Looks as if there's going to be no new deal for next year. Aha! The playoff committee and ESPN agreed to extend the December 1st deadline to change next year's playoff to January 23rd of next year, which I believe is 2 or 3 days after the national championship game. And so they're working on it to see whether or not it goes from 12 to 14 or 16 and what will the format be, et cetera, et cetera. One would think the College Football Playoff Committee's final choice this year may change some votes as to how conferences want to proceed. Speaking of the committee, they unveiled their latest rankings tonight. Does Miami gain ground on Notre Dame? Does Notre Dame stay ahead of Alabama, who fills out the bottom of the rankings to make teams at the top look good? All heading into rivalry weekend. And it was made official yesterday. Art Briles, over 9 years after he was let go by Baylor, hired as head coach of Division II's Eastern New Mexico yesterday. Baseball, one note. Yankee fans, did you see the quote from Hal Steinbrenner? He was asked about the payroll going forward, and he said, quote, well, ideally, we'd spend a little less. You really think a Yankee fan, boss, 16 years without a World Series win, you really think they want to hear you talk about spending less money? They want you to spend every dollar you have, win a World Series, and then do whatever you want for a few years. Are you serious? Anyway, the Yankees did spend $319 million last year on their payroll. To their defense, I mean, it's not like they're the Reds or anything. College hoops. The Big East has been, struggling in non-conference play. You know who else had been struggling? Unranked teams against ranked teams. Ranked teams were undefeated against unranked teams until last night. Seton Hall, unranked, beat 23rd ranked NC State 85-74. Bunch of terrific games. 15th ranked Iowa State edged 14th ranked St. John's 83-82. Houston needed overtime to beat Syracuse. Nice to see the Orange with a pulse. 78-74 Cougars in Vegas. Auburn, also in Vegas, took down Oregon 84-73. Also in Vegas. How about Gonzaga 95-85 over Alabama?
A split for me there. I said take Bama and the points and take the over. It did go over, but the Zags laying 4.5 won. David, at the end of the game, the 5 players on the court for Gonzaga, the youngest one was 22. Just saying.
Whole bunch of games in Florida. JU beat Bethune 69-64 in the Fort Myers tip-off. Remember, they've got two divisions. Toledo beat Troy 75-68. Buffalo, Bowling Green, Belmont, all winners. FIU lost at home to James Madison 80-72. FGCU in a good one over Oral Roberts 93-88. And FAU took care of Loyola Marymount 76-65. On the women's side, the Gators and UCF won. South Florida lost. NBA, I think a dozen games yesterday. Tyler Hero's season debut for the Heat. He scored 24. Miami over Dallas 106-102. The Detroit Pistons tied a franchise record last night. They won their 13th game in a row. Two other teams in Detroit Pistons history have won 13 games in a row. The team in 1990 and the team in 2004. Mark, as a Detroit Pistons fan, how did the seasons turn out for Detroit in 1990 and 2004?
Well, David, if memory serves me right, they won the last game they played both of those years.
Correct. They won two of their three NBA titles of the last 35 years.
Because you saw this coming. Right now, the top three teams in the East in order are the Pistons, the Raptors, and the Heat.
We mentioned the Heat. We mentioned the Pistons. How about the Raptors, who have won 8 in a row and took care of Cleveland last night, 110-99. Knicks beat the Nets for the 12th straight time, 113-100. Jokic with an off night last night, so he had a triple-double, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 16 assists. Denver over Memphis by 10. Zion with 29. Remember him? Zion Williamson? Man, that career was going to be something. Pelicans snap a 9-game skid. They beat the Bulls 143-130. The Bucks have lost 5 in a row. Portland came to Milwaukee, beat them 115-103. The Rockets are 11-4. They beat Phoenix 114-92. Golden State got 31 from Steph in a 17-point win over Utah. And the T-Wolves, Mark, last game, they blew an 8-point lead with less than a minute to play, lost to Phoenix. Last night, they had a 10-point lead with 3 minutes to go, lost in overtime to Sacramento, 117-112. Chauncey Billups pled not guilty in the federal poker case that he has going on against him. NHL, Vassie with 20 saves, Hagel with 2 goals and an assist. Lightning shut out the Flyers 3-0. Rangers snap a 4-game skid, beat St. Louis 3-2.
And they won home. How about that?
A second home win of the year. Yeah, been playing for nearly 2 months.
Right.
2 home wins. Right. AJ Greer, 2 goals and an assist for the Panthers, who drubbed Nashville 8-3. The Preds have lost 8 of 9. And apparently half the teams on the trading block. New Jersey snapped a 3-game skid. They edged your Wings, Mark, 4-3.
A little brouhaha at the end of it that was kind of fun.
Washington 5-1 over Columbus. Utah 5-1 over Vegas. Logan Cooley with 4 goals in a row for the Mammoth. That doesn't happen very often. In fact, it might happen once a season. And the Kings snap a 3-game skid. They beat Ottawa 2-1. And at 8 minutes before the hour mark, that was starting 5. 5 big stories. And remember Zion Williamson here on Miller and Moulton.
Yeah, that has not worked out well for the Pelicans.
Or for Zion. Well, it's not true. Zion's got
It's worked out really well for Zion. He's got enough money to live on for his and the rest of his children's lifetime. He's been a bust as a player. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. He likes to eat too much.
Well, don't we all?
I had heard, as a red flag, apparently at an early team meal or whatever, and he's not old enough to drink, but there was a team meal, and they're at a nice restaurant, and he ordered a pitcher of Coke. Hi, I'm not fat. I order my soda by the pitcher at a nice restaurant. Moulton's laughing because he's going, I do the same damn thing.
I do. And could you just give me a cup of ice on the side, please? All right. That'd be great. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. The 2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. The 2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Paula, Michigan, Ohio State is always on Fox. And I'm not being a jerk. Fox controls the Big Ten television deal. They will air that. They always will air Michigan, Ohio State. Always. It is literally in the contract. The only question the final weekend of the regular season is which network has second choice, CBS or NBC. But no, Fox negotiated that in the TV deal. They will always get Michigan, Ohio State. It is usually the highest rated college football game in the regular season every year. Usually. Well, Ohio State's the number one draw in the sport, Paula. It is. Bama's number 2.
Is this a real game, though, Puck? I mean, it's Michigan.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Tuesday before Thanksgiving. We are taking the holiday and Black Friday off, so best of Miller and Moulton shows towards the end of this week. Jam-packed guest list today and tomorrow, however. Pat Kirwan 1 hour from now, JP Shadrick 2 hours from now, and we'll talk a little college hoops with LaPhonso Ellis in our Diamond District bonus hour as well. I regret my apologies to Lee County, Florida, my former home that I miss dearly. All right. They are proud sponsors of the Starting Five. I did not mention it. Mark, I don't even know. Did you run the crawl?
I didn't.
On the screen?
I didn't. I have to be honest. Today was one of those days I didn't pay much attention to the Starting Five. I checked out. I had a couple things on X that I was reading that interested me. So I just kind of let you do your thing.
Well, the very boring, not worthy of paying attention to Starting Five was brought to you by Lee County, Florida.
Have a BLT. Oh, I'm sorry.
Have a BLT in Lee County, Florida. Building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. That's BST, not to be confused with BLT. And in many ways, all three, business, sports, and tourism, colliding this week in the 239 with all of the college basketball that is being played throughout the 239.
Got my Spartan shirt on today. Mom and I going to see East Carolina and Michigan State early this afternoon. Fired up for that.
You know, not that a school doesn't take advantage of going to Florida or the South in November and December, but I know St. Bonaventure's making a big deal today. They've got an event in the middle of the afternoon before they get ready to play North Carolina tonight. A couple of Bonnie alums that I know, they're making the trip down, whether it's driving across the alley from the East Coast or they're coming on down to spend a couple days.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the guys I play golf with, he's a Bonnie. He was letting me know about all the things they have planned. So,
yep.
I'm skipping the Michigan State pep rallies, David, and just going to I've been inundated with emails of all the events that are going on in and around the Spartans being in Southwest Florida, but I am just taking in the game and looking forward to that. David, I have 2 poll questions up. Very basic. It's Thanksgiving week. I'm not messing around. Turkey, roasting, frying, smoking. What's your preference? Very
Okay.
easy. I'm a traditionalist. I think you know that about me. I like the roasted turkey the best. The frying, it's not my deal. And if I were to smoke a turkey, I wouldn't do it for Thanksgiving. It doesn't seem Thanksgiving-ish to me. And then I just
hold on. That
think Thanksgiving-ish.
I don't know that I've ever heard that before. I think that's a new one.
It could be.
Thanksgiving-ish.
It's Thanksgiving-ish. Right. I mean, smoking a turkey is not very Thanksgiving-ish.
Huh. I liked it the way you said it the one time. You didn't have the second G.
I missed a G, exactly.
Right. You made it sound very Finnish. You made it Thanksgiving-ish. Huh. How about that? All right.
And
what's the other question?
Then I have the Battle Royale up there. I'm not messing around with all the other side dishes, although I have an alternative side dish, but it's simply mashed potatoes or stuffing. What do you prefer? You only can have one. You got to pick.
Heavy hitter there.
Right. And then I'm thinking about a third, and that is the best side dish that is not mashed potatoes or stuffing. Right now, I've got your green bean casserole up. I've got your sweet potato casserole up. Now, I put collard greens. That's more of a Southern thing, and I do like my greens. And see, many people do the mac and cheese thing for Thanksgiving. I don't recall many Thanksgivings in my life where if any, where mac and cheese was on the table. Now, I know in many a household, mac and cheese is on the table for Thanksgiving. Whether it's a Southern thing, a cultural thing, whatever you want to call it. I know it makes its way on, but it's not a Northern thing. It's not a Midwest thing. So I don't want to upset anyone.
Gotcha.
And I'll take a few texts here before this last poll question is put up. Pelican Roofing of Florida text line, 21,000 is the number. Miller's the keyword. Have you not texted before? I will say we did get an early on text, David, when we mentioned, can you forget the birthday or the anniversary? And you can't forget either. But a gentleman texted and forgot my wife's birthday once 10 years ago. It gets brought up about 6 times a year. Yep. Don't forget the birthday.
Well, sir, I'll tell you what. Forget the anniversary, okay, and then see whether or not that replaces the birthday. I'm just saying. I think it outranks it, but we shall see. Hey, can we play a game that we haven't played in a while?
Oh, is that let me see. Wait for it. Is it the game that we all love? If the playoffs started today?
No. We do that all the time. No.
What game do we have?
Yes, no, maybe so. Are you ready?
Hey!
If I'm going to go fairly rapid fire. This is your gut feeling if you were a voter on the college football playoff committee. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go. Yes, no, maybe so. It's a game that it's the game that keeps giving on this show.
If Ole Miss loses the Egg Bowl, are they out?
No.
They're not out. You think Ole Miss can? So you think Ole Miss is in? Period. They're done. They're in. They are 10-1. Okay, heading into tonight, they're ranked 6th. You think Ole Miss can afford to lose the Egg Bowl and will still make the college football playoff?
I do, David.
Wow. Okay, I do not. If Georgia Tech beats Georgia, do they have a shot to make the playoff? Yes, no, maybe so.
No.
I agree. If Georgia loses to Georgia Tech, will they still make the playoff at 10-2?
Yes.
Will they host a game?
No.
Look at you.
God, I love this game. This is a great game.
Yes, no, maybe so. If Texas beats A&M, do they have a shot at the playoff or are they out?
Maybe so.
Okay. If A&M loses to Texas, do they get a home game?
They get a home game. They will not get a bye, but they will get a home game.
If Miami beats Pitt to finish 10-2, yes, no, maybe so, they'll make the playoff.
Maybe so, but they'll need a lot of help. I mean, they need Auburn to win then. They need BYU to see the BYU thing. Where BYU and Miami are tonight, David, answers a lot of that question. If BYU is ahead of Miami, how badly would they have to lose the Big 12 championship, assuming they beat UCF this week and go to play Texas Tech? So maybe so, but they need a lot of work, I guess is what I'm saying.
If BYU, currently one spot behind Alabama, if BYU beats UCF to make the Big 12 title game at 11-1, are they in the playoff? SMU last year made the ACC title game at 11-1, lost it, made the playoff. BYU at 11-1, yes, no, maybe so.
BYU at 11-1, I see, because but they're not. David, there's no way for BYU to finish this season at 11-1. They'll play another game then.
Okay, once again, I'm asking the questions. I'm framing the argument. That's number one. Number two, we have come to the conclusion on this show. The committee does not want to hurt the championship games. Okay, they'll do great disservice. They will cost these conferences tens of millions of dollars if they denigrate the conference championship game. We have agreed the committee will not punish a team for losing the conference championship game. They've said it out loud. They followed up on it last year with SMU. So now, if you still believe in that premise, or if you think it doesn't apply for whatever reason to the Big 12 this year, yes, no, maybe so. Will an 11-1 BYU in the regular season, doesn't matter what they do in the Big 12 title game, will they make the playoff?
Not without Alabama losing.
All right. Iron Bowl. If Alabama wins, are they in the playoffs no matter what happens in the SEC championship game?
Lock it down. Yes.
Okay. If Texas Tech in the playoffs no matter what?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the worst case scenario is right.
If they lost this week, I get, but if providing that they win this week, they're
okay.
in.
So what you're saying is if Texas Tech wins at West Virginia, where they're a 25-point favorite, if they win this game this week, the Red Raiders are in the playoffs no matter what.
I believe that they are, David.
So then the Big 12 could have two.
Yes.
Because you think they'd be in even if BYU beat them in the Big 12 title game.
Yes.
If Oregon loses at Washington, will they make the playoffs, yes or no? Or maybe so.
I would lean yes, but I would have to vote maybe so.
Okay. All right. If Notre Dame beats Stanford, are they in the playoffs?
As long as Michigan doesn't beat Ohio State.
And if Michigan beats Ohio State to qualify for the Big Ten championship game.
Well, they would need Oregon to lose.
So you think Notre Dame's maybe so?
Yes.
Because you've put two qualifiers on it.
Yes. But I mean, I'm just saying for Michigan at the Big Ten championship game, they not only have to beat the Buckeyes, I believe they need Oregon to lose.
Okay.
I thought that's the way that I read it. I could be wrong, but I thought Oregon's in with a Michigan win and an Oregon win.
Gotcha. All right.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, this edition of Yes, No, Maybe So.
Don't say it like that.
It's a sponsorable segment. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This weekend, Artisans Unite, the artistry of fine jewelry.
And the artistry of fine dining at our favorite Sales in Naples.
With your Diamond District purchase of $2,500 or more, you'll receive $1,000 unforgettable dining experience at Sales.
Where flavors of Europe join and every detail is a masterpiece.
Celebrate brilliance in jewelry this weekend at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
By the way, a 3-loss Bama would go ahead of a 2-loss BYU. They would, if they both make the championship game. Well, the Buckeyes won't go to the championship game if they lose to Michigan.
Yes. If Oregon beats Washington and Michigan beats Ohio State, Indiana will be undefeated. There'll be a three-way tie for second. Oregon wins the tiebreaker.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Pat Kirwan in 40 minutes time to talk all things NFL. Miller and Moulton on this Tuesday before Thanksgiving. We know many of you will be traveling, a lot going on. Be safe, be well, have a great holiday with friends and family. We will enjoy the holiday as well. Best of Miller and Moulton on Thursday and Friday. 5 guests on the show tomorrow. 5.
For now. I mean, we could add another one. You never know.
Right.
If I were to choose one to add, David, it would be Ross Dellinger, because he reposted something on X that he posted 3 years ago. And every year this week, he reposts this thread. And he says, as a tradition, a thread on the Egg Bowl, which is the dirtiest, ugliest, and most awesome rivalry I've ever been around. It's rooted in posturing, pettiness, and espionage. It's the type of series that makes college football both unique and better than any other sport. Can I just give you a couple of the snippets? Because I know how much you love these. And this game means more this year than maybe ever before. But usually, for many years, the Egg Bowl didn't mean a damn thing unless you were a fan or grad of Ole Miss or a fan or grad of Mississippi State.
Correct.
The founding, the petty goes back to the founding of one of the schools in 1878. Mississippi A&M, now Mississippi State, was created 30 years after the University of Mississippi, and I quote, because of the disdain dirt farmers had for Ole Miss. In 1905, first game between the teams, Mississippi State wins 11-0. Mississippi State students carried out a full military site funeral for Ole Miss football, putting a real coffin through the heart of the city. 1920s, Rebel coach Dudy Noble once famously said, I already know what hell is like. I once coached at Ole Miss.
Wow.
Ole Miss fans stormed the field in Starkville after a 7-6 victory in 1926. Mississippi State fans beat those from Ole Miss with cane-bottomed chairs until the very chairs had splintered, per archived news stories. In the 60s, a plane dropped pamphlets onto an Ole Miss practice containing disparaging remarks from state players about the Rebels. Turned out that no one from Mississippi State was involved. It was a motivational stunt by the Ole Miss coaches.
Nice.
Right. A lot of planting of trees to hide espionage from teams watching practices and teams having practices indoors. But During an Ole Miss practice in Egg Bowl week, a coach fought a spying State fan and threw him over the side of the stadium. The players thought they had just witnessed a fan being murdered. David Cutcliffe concocted the whole thing. It was a mannequin dressed in maroon. And my favorite, Ole Miss coach Billy Brewer and Mississippi State coach Jackie Sherrill had a long-running beef. Brewer welcomed Sherrill into the SEC by calling him a habitual liar. Sherrill replied, Billy doesn't know what the word habitual means. That is what is at stake. That's every rivalry. And the Ole Miss Mississippi State, the Egg Bowl this year has more meat on the bone than a normal year because, David had just asked me, is Ole Miss in if they lose? There are a lot of people that don't think that they are. I think that they're in at 10-2. I know they don't have a lot of quality wins, but I think that they're in. But if they lose this game, particularly with all of the Lane Kiffin talk, what a way to perhaps end the season and Kiffin's tenure at Ole Miss.
Here's why I don't think Ole Miss is in if they lose. To me, it's the Notre Dame-Miami argument. Ole Miss with a loss would be 10-2. The argument for Ole Miss is, yeah, but they beat Oklahoma at Oklahoma. Therefore, Oklahoma's 10-2, Ole Miss is 10-2. Ole Miss should go ahead of Oklahoma. Meanwhile, right now, one school is only ranked 2 spots ahead of the other. And are you telling me they won't drop Ole Miss behind Oklahoma, even though, yes, Ole Miss beat Oklahoma? No, I think the committee will say, yeah, that's a nice talking point, but look at the wins that Oklahoma has. At Tennessee, at Alabama. Look at who their losses were to. All right? We are going to reward Oklahoma with the berth over Ole Miss. Mark, if Alabama wins the Iron Bowl, do you really think that Ole Miss's 10-2 is better than Alabama's 10-2?
I don't.
And so, but to me, how can the committee put Ole Miss ahead of Oklahoma when they're putting Miami behind Notre Dame? See, to me, I think Ole Miss would become Miami. The committee is going to leave Miami out, even though they beat Notre Dame, even though they're both going to finish with the same record. I think the very same thing would happen here. Ole Miss loses, they're 10-2. They're going to put them behind Oklahoma, and then, hell, they're going to put them behind Alabama. And Ole Miss is going to go, how can you put Oklahoma in when we beat them at their place? And the committee is going to go, yeah, it's the whole resume, dude. It's why I think they lose, they're out.
Well, I think Oklahoma, when they talked about tiers, and apparently Notre Dame and Miami aren't on the same tier.
Right.
I think Oklahoma and Ole Miss would be on the same tier. I do want to give one interesting factoid because Tennessee gets brought up by a lot of teams. We beat Tennessee. Tennessee might be the most overrated 8-3. If they go beat Vandy, great. Then maybe they have something. But they've not beaten anybody this year.
No,
their 8-3 is the most pathetic 8-3 in the country. They do not have a win against a team with a winning record. So when we talk about Tennessee being this great team, they're not. They're 8-3, and they haven't beaten anybody that's worth a you-know-what.
Well, first off, we haven't said they're a great team. And I think great might have been an overstatement. But the committee is doing what? They keep propping Tennessee up. They keep moving up the rankings, beating 3- and 4-win teams. I mean, Tennessee humiliated Florida. And give them credit because they haven't won in Gainesville in 22 years. But, Mark, Tennessee was 18th before beating Florida. What do you think they'll be now? I mean, seriously.
I think they'll be about the same. I really do, because no one really lost.
Okay, it's possible. It's possible. but they're going to finish the regular season. I mean, worst case scenario, they lose to Vandy. They finish 8-4. You think they're going to drop out of the top 25?
Probably not.
No. So that's going to count as a ranked win for the Georgias and the Alabamas and the Oklahomas of the world who beat them.
So I find it interesting that people keep talking, well, they beat Tennessee. Who gives a damn? What's Tennessee done to deserve all these accolades? They beat Arkansas, yippee. So that's all.
How's that go again?
Yippee. More excited about a green bean casserole than I am about Tennessee, for crying out loud.
Well,
and we're not even making
quite
green bean casserole at our house.
That's quite an analogy going forward. What do you think of Tennessee? I think they're like a green bean casserole.
You serve it once a year and it's not good. Okay?
Look, wow. No need to get personal. Besides, some green bean casseroles aren't bad.
If you say so. Still looking for that 4 side dish. And I'm just telling you right now, rolls are not a side dish. They're not. I mean, we can have a plate of them, but I don't think that rolls are a side dish. Pat Kirwan in 30 minutes. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
All right, I'm going to leave this portion of my talk to the chat room. I appreciate every single one of you. The time that you give to this show it makes, I think, both of our days. It certainly makes mine. It really and truly does. Your dedication to this show has never been questioned. But Candid Relief, this is a one-on-one with me and you. You're Canadian. I don't give a damn about your side dishes. You don't even celebrate Thanksgiving at the right time. Don't even get me started on how you tip, okay? I don't need to hear what Canadian side dishes are. You mentioned a salad. Really? It's Thanksgiving. All right? Stick to the Maple Leafs losing in the first round, and we're not going to worry about you and Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, but I feel better now. Brussels sprouts. That's interesting. Because I know that collard greens is a controversial side. It's a southern side dish. don't, Aurora. You know what? I could always use a. No, I love salads, Canada Relief. But when I ask for, side dishes for things, how about a salad? Who says that? Like, I don't think cranberry sauce is necessary. I mean, it's served at Thanksgiving. Is it a side dish or is it a compliment to the turkey? Is it really like ketchup
it's not
for
a
a
side
hamburger,
dish.
if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, it's not a side dish.
Something right. And that's where if I put mac and cheese on there, it wins, because mac and cheese is a delightful side dish any time of the year. Delightful. No, Empire. I was laughing so hard at I don't think it was a Facebook post. I don't know where I saw it, or something, but it was basically, and it was a black person doing it, and I forgot how he wrote white people, but the way he spelled out white people had me crying, and it was talking about all of the side dishes versus black people's Thanksgiving and white people's Thanksgiving. I was in tears. I'm reading this laughing over and over, because they're like, the turkey's not even the big deal. It's basically, not only is it mac and cheese, who's making the mac and cheese? And every black person, before they get the mac and cheese, says, so who made the mac and cheese, before they put it on their plate. I was in tears laughing. Also, the number of people at a white Thanksgiving versus a black Thanksgiving. He's like, white Thanksgiving's really small. It's just family. Black people, it could be a relative. It might not be a relative. There's 30 people there. There's all this. It was fantastic. But again, if I put mac and cheese on there, it wins. Oh, totally, Empire. It's cultural. And the same thing with collards. That's a Southern thing. But I'm fake Southern.
Never had mac and cheese at Thanksgiving dinner in Jersey. Never. I feel like mac and cheese, in the 21st century became like something grand. Like when I grew up, mac and cheese was just for kids.
Not in the South, though. It
right.
It is a cultural thing, definitely.
Canada Relief.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Well, things are getting hot and heavy in the Twitch and YouTube chat room, discussing Thanksgiving side dishes. Ooh-wee. I don't know if we get more controversial and people more hot, more opinionated than when we start going down this road. I mean, for goodness sakes. I mean, we're like half a level away from going Democrat, Republican here in the chat room. It is, it is intense. It's intense. We're talking side dishes, folks. Come on now. Take a deep breath. Whew.
I know it got so heated that one of the people in the chat room asked if I needed a hug.
And I'm the hugger on this show. Come on now.
It
Mark's
doesn't
the
mean,
bro hugger.
Doesn't mean I can hug. I just don't, I don't basically state my reputation on the fact that I'm a good or bad hugger. You take a lot of pride in your ability to hug another human being.
Yes, I'm good at it. I like to do it. I'm good at it. Okay. You're a bro hugger. You're good at it, by the way. I'm not. I'm a manatee. It's tough, to move to do the bro hug. It just, once you got to get the weight shifted, and then once you get it shifted, where am I going to end up? What do you mean you only want to do half of me? I kind of all move here. Anyway, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Can you humor me? This is the one segment I want you to humor me for
All
the
right,
show.
I'll do my best.
It'll be the only one. Well, you didn't pay attention to the starting five, so you've already humored yourself. How about if you humor me?
I did pay attention to the college basketball portion of the starting five.
Well, I was going to say you interjected twice, so I found it interesting that you say I didn't pay attention. I don't know.
I have to be honest. Any of the Monday Night Football stuff, I glossed right over all of that.
Well, so did I, and I was working the game. But so I have to admit, every day that goes by, I think Tony Petitti's right about this 4-4-2-2-1-1. I really do. Okay. And to further the point, imagine if we had 4-4-2-2-1-1 with a 14-team playoff or a 16-team playoff, but you're guaranteeing each conference 4-4-2-2-1-1. First off, I mean, Notre Dame would probably make it every year if they went 9-3 or better. So how could Notre Dame be against it? Seriously. But not at 12, but if we go to 16, Notre Dame could probably throw a 9-3 on the board and get one of the final two spots. Because, Mark, at the end of the day, what is this again?
It's a television show.
Okay,
No,
thank you.
I know, but it's all right.
No,
Look,
so
I got you. Can I at least follow with a question to you?
Sure.
So, a 16-team playoff, and Notre Dame gets in at 9-3 every year. I agree with you. This sport has been fueled by opinion for its entire lifeblood.
Yes, absolutely.
How much of that are you taking away when you go 4-4-2-2-1-1-1-1-1, whatever it is you want to do, when you know at the end of the day what Petitti wants with this is these play-in games?
Okay, could you do me a favor? Can you stop with the play-in games? I'm not going there. That's not the formula that I'm talking.
Well, that's the you says Petitti wants this, but Petitti wants the play-in games. One,
listen,
two.
Well, listen, the Big Ten can do whatever the hell they want. It's their conference. They can break it up and divide. The rest of the sport won't give a damn how the Big Ten fills out their four. I think Petitti would be doing damage to his conference if he wants to, the top two are in the championship game, and then we're going to figure out who the other two representatives are. To me, you would potentially be hurting a fifth or a sixth school from your conference from getting in. Okay, so I think now Petitti's trying to create television inventory, and he does have a TV problem, which may sound stupid because he makes the most TV money of all the conferences, but every single media partner in his conference hates the current TV deal. So I think Tony's thinking forward how to get them on, their side so they'll continue to pay what they're going to pay. But anyway, how could Greg Sankey be against 4-4-2-2-1-1? And remember, he was for it. He was pounding the table for it. And then Kirby Smart and Lane Kiffin and some of the coaches in Destin revolted on him, and he wilted like a cheap suit. Okay, but deep down, he wants 4-4-2-2-1-1 and a 14 or 16 team playoff. Why? For 2025, take a look at the standings. He'd have 6. Alabama assuredly would be in as their 5th, and Vanderbilt with a win over Tennessee would get in. He'd get 6. He would certainly get 5 every year. But he's guaranteeing he would never have 2024 when he only got 3. How can the Big 12 and the ACC not be for 4-4-2-2-1-1? Hell, the ACC is going to be lucky they're considered a Power 4 conference this year, and they're going to get one team in. But they're not going to get their best team. They may not even get their second best team. They're going to get either Virginia, SMU, or Pitt. Then there's the Big 12. They're looking at 2 years in a row only getting one team, their conference champion. BYU, if everything goes according to point spreads, is going to go 11-2 this year. Their two being against Big 12 champion Texas Tech both times. BYU will have had back-to-back regular seasons of 10-2 and 11-1 and not made the playoff either year. How can your mark be against 4-4-2-2-1-1? So Notre Dame would love it. ACC, Big 12, Big Ten's proposing it, and the SEC was on board before Sankey caved. I'm telling you, the more I think about this, the more I think it's also better for the sport. And if the Big Ten wants to do a playoff at the end for who their two representatives are, fine. I think it'll hurt them. But it's their conference. They can do whatever the hell they want. Hell, college basketball, Mark, the ACC had a 3-point line when the rest of the sport didn't. The Big East a few years went to 6 fouls when the rest of the sport didn't. Conferences can do whatever the heck they want.
All right. Let me ask you this, because you're pretty animated about this, and I'm not going to get into the play-in games anymore, but I am going to ask you this. Because one of the bigger problems in college football, first off, I'd love them to stay to 12. And if they go to 16, they're going to figure out if they go with this system or not. But the bigger problem in college football is the Lane Kiffin problem right now. Because this problem's going to happen more with a team, wanting to get a coach and all of these things. And it has to do with when we are now signing players for next year. The early signing period has begun or begins next week, right? December 5th, I think.
Okay, I thought it was mid-December, but okay. Maybe that's the portal. The early signing of the portal could be different. I apologize.
The early signing's in December. So the reason that Florida and LSU and everybody else wants to get their coach is that the early signing period starts. Part 2 of that is the transfer portal starts in early January while the playoffs are still going on.
But only for 4 teams. I mean, in fairness, okay, I think they moved it back such that we will have determined who the final 4 are, and then the portal opens. So it will affect 4 schools.
If we were to go to 16, and I know it's highly unlikely because the money is made in these conference championship games, but because if we go to 16, there will be more money on the table. And the conference championship games, particularly if we're doing your 4-4-2-2 system, the conference championship games have zero meaning.
Not true at all. Not true at all. First off, they determine seeding, which determines, buys, home playoff games, etc. Secondly, there is a case, like let's just say the ACC this year, if we had the 4-4-2-2-1-1 system in play, couldn't, in theory, Miami be assured of one of the 2 ACC spots and the loser of the ACC championship game be out?
I guess you could. It would be however the conferences decide who goes.
Yeah.
Unless it's just the rankings. Because,
right.
But I would be for this more if we eliminated conference championship games and moved this whole thing up so that we weren't dealing with guys having to make a decision on, I've got to jump into the portal. I can't play in the semifinal game. I'd like to see the college football season end in early January, not late January. And with more teams, you're going to extend the season further. You just are, because they're not, I don't know how they're going to do it any other way. So I would like to see the season end a little earlier. I would like to see if this whole coach and waiting situation with Lane Kiffin, that's a bigger issue to me than 12 or 14 or 12 or 16 and who gets in. I think the season's going too long. Now, it probably won't ever change because they want to drag this out.
Well, How much further is the season going now than when it always went? Okay, we had our New Year's Day bowl games, and on the next day, we determined who the national champion was. We're playing 3 games further now than how we did it forever. 3. That's it. 3. There's no doubt the calendar's messed up. This all shouldn't be one on top of the other. The
off-season starts while the season is going on. There's no other sport on the planet that does that.
I agree. Even baseball waits 5 days after the World Series. I agree with you. Mark, are the conferences going to get rid of the conference championship games? Realistically, they're a total cash grab, and they don't have to share it with anybody. It all goes to themselves. Do we really think Petiti and Sankey are going to get rid of the conference championship games?
David, I actually could see in the next 10 years where they would go away, because I don't think teams want to play in them in the system that we're in now. I don't.
How about if we start eliminating bowls and we have not just first but second round games that are dependent on better seeding, home games, home quarterfinals? Now the conference championship game's got a lot of meaning. Your seeding's a big deal, and it may not be a big deal in the first round because everybody who's playing in the conference championship game is going to host a first round game. You sure the loser's going to host a second round game?
No, I'm not, David. But I do know that all it's going to take is one important player getting hurt in a conference championship game for coaches to say, why are we doing this anymore? Why are we doing this? As opposed to having that player for the playoffs. That's all.
Okay. And first off, coaches complain about everything. I mean, honestly, I'm not letting the coaches have a say in this. I'm not. With the coaches, this is my philosophy. Shut up and cash a check. I'm not letting them have a say in this. It's a TV show. You're in charge of the product. Just produce the damn product. Here's the money. Be quiet.
I know what you're saying. You're right. Shut up and cash the check. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people that will agree with you more than me. But I see a world where conference championship games disappear because they don't have – if it's the regular season and the playoff, why are we playing an exhibition game in the middle of it?
What goes away first? The conference championship game or 15 bowl games?
I think I would bet on neither.
No, come on.
No,
if
I would.
One of them's going to go away. Will it be half the bowl games, or would it be the conference championship games? See, I think this sport is looking more and more like a pro sport. And what do? We have haves and have-nots. Those that make the playoffs, great. Those that don't, their season's over. The Birmingham Bowl, I think, has a better chance of going away than the SEC championship game.
And what's interesting is there are a lot of, G6 schools that being bowl eligible is still a big deal to them because they'll never play in the the odds of them playing in the playoff are far less than Illinois making the playoff, if you know what I mean.
Yep. I agree.
So you're probably right, but I just see a scenario where conference championship games, because of the calendar, should go away. They probably won't. Pat Kirwan next. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CapeCoralPolice.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton
The
sent you.
2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower's so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today and schedule an appointment online.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Bum, bum, bum.
Good morning, Pat.
Hey, Mark, how are you, man?
I am really good. How about yourself?
I am doing well. And
Went out to see my boy Big Jimmy yesterday, Pat. I got stones for the day after Thanksgiving.
You're already up to Big Jimmy. I can't stand this.
And I've not even met him yet. I just met Mom and Dad. I sat and talked to his father yesterday brought my daughter out with him. My daughter's in the car for 10 minutes. I'm just talking to the old man who's lived in Southwest Florida, worked for FP&L for 44 years, moved here like in the 60s, and has lived out in Golden Gate for 40 years.
So, and I know enough because I had friends that did that. 40 years ago, Golden Gate was rugged country.
He was talking about shooting rabbits out of the back of pickup trucks. I mean, I could have sat with that old man for hours just listening to him tell stories. It was great.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I get squared up, I got to take a ride with you. Yeah. And you know what? His son's going to be the next generation of old school old timer.
Yep.
Out crabbing for a living.
He's got a farm. I got mustard greens and collard greens from him. He's got a farm that he's growing stuff and all kinds of vegetables and stuff, and he's stone crabs. This I'm dying to meet the kid because he obviously, this is a guy who played ball at Mississippi State, came back and coached, and then got out of it now as a crabber and a farmer. I mean, like, this guy doesn't have a work ethic.
No, those are the kind of great ones.
Yes.
You know what? And everyone thinks that whole generation, that whole era is gone. There's got to be a couple of them around like him. I bet you he hangs around with guys just like himself. Mississippi State, man. I think David said it once. There's an Arby's and a McDonald's.
Well, 10 years ago especially, they had just built like the third hotel off the highway. But I mean, 20 years ago when I first started in the SEC, oh my God, a game in Starkville was, I mean, it wasn't uncommon, I guess, to stay a long ways away. I mean, even in Tuscaloosa and drive in.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, we took a number of guys from Mississippi State, and mostly defensive linemen, as it turned out. But we ignored their Wonderlic score because it was irrelevant. It was scary to take a guy with that score. But we just, well, it's Mississippi State. What the heck? Okay, where's my boy Lane winding up?
We were both Ole Miss forever. I have changed in the last week and a half. I think he's going to Florida.
Do they have more NIL money than LSU?
No, but it's similar. I don't think it's that much of a difference. And LSU's crazier than Florida from what you have to deal with. When that governor got in, I don't think that helps whoever the next coach is.
Pat, the funny thing is Ole Miss's collective / NIL may be better. Well, I know it's better than Florida's. It may even be richer than LSU's.
I've talked to Lane about it. It was like there were no barriers.
Right.
So I don't know why he's leaving.
Can't recruit there the way you can at Florida or LSU. You got to do both to win a championship.
I don't think he cares about recruiting. He likes renting them.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home on this Tuesday before Thanksgiving, at least in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, and Fort Myers, Naples. Final hour of the show, Port Charlotte, Venice and surrounding areas, Lake City, Live Oak and surrounding areas. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. It's Pat Kirwan time. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, weekdays 3 to 7, Saturdays 2 to 5. Sundays, he's with CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, over a dozen locations in between. Go to PinchersUSA.com and buy your gift cards for the holidays. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. So, you do anything special, you and your family, for Thanksgiving?
Well, that's such a terrible question to ask me. They say goodbye to me as I get in the car and drive over to the CBS studio. And when I come back, everyone's asleep on the couch, and they act like they're watching the Bengal game, which we know they're not.
Didn't know if you moved it up a day, if you pushed it back a day, all your years in the NFL. I just didn't know if basically they just say goodbye to you and they do it without you.
So here's my history. When I was a high school coach, we played on Thanksgiving morning. When I was a college coach, we practiced on Thanksgiving morning because we made the NCAA playoffs every year. When I got to pro football, we had practice in the morning. And then I got to the media thing, and I haven't been home for Thanksgiving yet. So, no. And I know they told me about 15 years ago they started doing the turkeys in the big, what do you call it? Roast
fryer?
Deep fryers, yeah. And I'd come back, and there'd always be a plate wrapped in aluminum foil right on the counter with my name on it. And no one would be around. I'd sit there and eat quietly. Oh, yeah.
I'll send you some pictures of all the side dishes, Pat, just to make you feel like you're at someone's home this Thanksgiving.
Yes, please do.
All right.
I accept you guys as family anyway, so what the heck?
Absolutely. All right. We were talking earlier about the Niners, and I think David made a great point. There's not a lot of room for error on this team.
No.
But they're still a playoff team to me. They play, and I know good teams have gone into Cleveland and lost. They play Cleveland next, and they play the Titans after that. If they just get those two, it's 10. They've got one at home against the Bears. How far can San Francisco go as they're currently built? Is their ceiling basically a wild card team that might win a playoff game?
Yes. I mean, if you asked me to bet on something, that would be my version of them. You tell me, guys, how many playoff games could Purdy get away with throwing 3 picks? None.
Probably none.
Yeah. So no, and I like Purdy a lot because when he's on, man, he throws a nice ball. But I think they are always, and I think this is really your focus. Like if they lose their tight end again or they're always one player away from, a collapse in my mind. They do a nice job of fighting through all this, but the 2 guys I mentioned, they're probably more valuable than even the quarterback.
I would agree. They have no replacement for Kittle. They have no replacement for McCaffrey. Mac Jones at least can step in and be a suitable replacement for Purdy. I agree with you completely. They are an interesting out, though. Like, you can't see them winning 2-3 playoff games, but if they got in, even when they go on the road, the way they play travels, they've always been a tough out in January if they can make it.
Well, under the present circumstances, they would be going to Philadelphia, right?
Right.
For their opener. Would you take them? I would not.
No, but would you agree that it's probably a 10-point game or less, which means one big play could dramatically alter the game?
Yes. But I think at the end of the day, if I'm Philadelphia, I'm overplaying McCaffrey and his run game.
Totally.
And let's see if they can beat me throwing the ball. But they're not going to beat me with McCaffrey on the ground. And I do think that the Eagles' defense has enough. First off, they have the right coach to try to stop a run game. And they have a couple of guys that could really orchestrate the power inside with the tackles. Zach Bourne changing the stunt and pressure calls. They could make it hard on them. But I do like San Francisco. But, is this, in your minds, are they the 3rd best team in the division?
Yes. And I think that there's some room between 2 and 3. Like, I think Seattle and LA can have maybe a little bit of an off game and still win. I think San Francisco's got to be damn near perfect to beat playoff teams.
Yes. And that you mentioned Chicago, and I got the feeling when you said it as a win for San Francisco, which I see, not to move off the subject, but the Bear fans are now acting like they're going to the Super Bowl. And I keep saying, would you look at your schedule? You're doing a nice job. You beat Pittsburgh without Rodgers. Great. But look at who you still have left. There could be 4 losses on that thing.
One game, one team against a team with the losing record the rest of the way for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah. And that team is Cleveland. And if they just feel like trying to beat you with defense, they may not beat you, but you may be too beat up for the next week. Your offense might be full of lumps and bruises.
Second to last game of the year for both teams. Circle it. Could very well be a wild card tiebreaker. Chicago at San Francisco.
Yep.
All right. We'll have to mention, if the playoffs started today, the Lions are out. All right. It is interesting. I think we all would agree. Bears right now would win the division. Niners would be in the playoffs. I think we all agree, though, if the Lions got in, they'd be more dangerous than both those 2 teams, correct?
Yes, I agree with that. And then after they get done with that San Francisco game you referenced, don't they end with Detroit?
They do.
Who put 52 on them the first time. I still think there's some suspicion about the Chicago defense.
Well, there's no doubt because Pittsburgh was able to do a lot with Mason Rudolph playing, but talk about the other side of the ball. I know you and Jim Miller, your co-host, talk a lot of Bears. He works with the Bears. This Caleb Williams thing, there were a lot of people doubting the quarterback. He seems to be getting better every week, Pat.
Yeah, and that's why his coach is on my list pretty high up for potential coach of the year. What he's getting done there is pretty impressive. And also, I would say even Dennis Allen is doing pretty good with what he's got. So I do like the quarterback's development. I think that's pretty obvious to see for all of us. Go back and watch last year's stuff as a reminder, in case, not you guys, you remember everything, but if the fans can't remember, it was a struggle. And he was immature. And he had times where Jim says all the time, the best thing that's going on with him is he doesn't get flustered when he makes a mistake. He goes to this, he's calm, and he's ready to reload and go back out there. He goes, that's not who he was last year.
Well, think about what Ben Johnson inherited with Goff. I mean, Goff had been broken by McVay and the Rams. And look what he did with him. All right. Now look at what Ben Johnson's doing in his first year with Caleb Williams. We'll say it again for the Bears. 6 games left, 5 against winning teams, 2 against the Packers, Lions, Niners, and Eagles to go along with a home game against Cleveland. Can they go 3-3, get to 11, and assure themselves of at least a playoff spot? Pat, we've talked a lot about the Bucs. You talk with Todd Bowles every week. This was a tough 3-game stretch. They lost all 3, seemingly everyone worse than the other, and now their defense appears broken. All right. They don't really have a lot of injuries on defense. They just can't stop anybody good. What can you do heading into December when that's your reality?
Well, Todd would, I think, start to get even a little riskier with his pressure calls and start to try to do more, heating it up, knowing it's feast or famine. But I think he's a practical guy who's a realist. If he thinks, man, the team across the field for me is better than me, and I don't have an arsenal of ways to stop that, I'm going to take some risks. He knows his quarterback is a risk taker. Hopefully he's not hurt long term, because they won't do anything without him. But I think he'll try to take risks and run the ball. And he's getting Bucky Irving back soon. He kind of likes the backs. He definitely likes Tucker. So it'll be a lot of run, try to shorten the game. That's how defensive guys are anyway. And then blow up with pressure calls. And I don't know if I love that, but that's my answer to what he'll do. I've come to know that guy pretty well. And that's that he will look at it as a realist. He will not make believe, hey, we're as good as them. Or my favorite, oh, we had a good week of practice. He doesn't think like that. He's from the second he's talking to that team on Wednesday mornings. It's like he knows already when he's not as good. And I do love that about him, because I think so many coaches try to make believe. We get guys that lose games by 30 points, and they'll come on the show and say things like, man, we had a good week of practice. Then I say, then cancel practice.
Unlike the Bears, the Bucs, because of Carolina losing last night, the Bucs do not play a team with a winning record for the rest of the season. So a clear advantage to the Bucs. A team that does play some pretty good teams the rest of the way is the Indianapolis Colts. They've got a bunch of division games. And after Daniel Jones looking like Daniel Jones last week in the second half, Pat, if 10 is for sure they win their division and 1 is for sure they don't, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sure are you that the Colts will win their division?
I am sure. And I'll give it a 9. And why? Because, again, I don't really think Jacksonville has what it takes to go the distance. They're doing a nice job. Houston, everyone's talking Houston because they looked so good the other night on defense. But Indianapolis has that running back. Indianapolis has a defense that runs to the ball. They look to make turnover plays. And I think Daniel Jones will do just enough. And what am I comparing him to? Trevor Lawrence and Davis Mills or Stroud. I don't know who it's even going to be. So I'll take my chances with Daniel Jones against those two guys that he'll win the division.
Right now, the Colts would host the Jags in a 3-6 first-round playoff game. I will say, though, that loss not only keeps the Chiefs alive, it could come back to haunt the Colts. They went from the 1 seed to the 3 seed. That's a big difference, not just in first-round matchups, but in the second round. Right now, the Colts would have to go on the road in the divisional round as opposed to how they had it before. More with Pat Kirwan on the other side. NFL Radio's Moving the Chain, CBS's NFL Today show. Pat's weekly appearances brought to you by Pinchers. Pinchers with locations from Tampa to Key West and all points in between. Pinchers where you can't fake fresh.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. costs. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but two elite women's college basketball tournaments. The Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hey, Mark, I wanted to ask you a question. I like your opinion on this. So if the playoffs started today, 49ers go to Philly, Green Bay goes to Chicago, Seattle goes to Tampa, Chargers go to Baltimore, Jacksonville goes to Indy, and Buffalo goes to Denver. How many road teams do you see winning?
Well, just looking at favorites, Denver and Buffalo would be damn near a pick 'em.
Yep.
I think I would pick the Colts to win at home.
Me too.
I would pick the Ravens to win at home.
Yep.
I would pick the Eagles to win at home.
Here it comes.
And that's it. 3. Because I'd take Green Bay over Chicago, and I'd take Seattle over Tampa.
Yep.
And I think the line would be like, I think if you were betting this, I think that's how the lines would be too. Like, David, Denver hosting Buffalo in a wild card weekend game. What's the point spread? Buffalo by 1?
Denver by 2.5.
Okay. The Colts would be favored over the Jags by at least a field goal. And I think the Ravens, Chargers, I think the Ravens would be favored 2.5, 3. Eagles would be favored over the Niners. Who would be favored? Chicago or Green Bay in Chicago?
Green Bay by 2.
Right. And how many would Seattle be favored by over Tampa?
4. 2.5. Yeah, I was going to say 2.5 to 3.5.
So at least two road wins, maybe 3.
I think 3. Yeah, I think 3.
Bills have never won a road playoff game with the current crew. I'm sorry, Pat. I believe in the rest of the Seahawks. Sam Darnold's got to do it for me in a big spot.
Sure. He has never done it in a big spot.
Nope. His playoff performance last year in Los Angeles was awful.
Oh, yeah. But that's how he got to Seattle. And guess what? The guys from Minnesota were calling yesterday begging for him to come back.
Well, and the other side of that is, no offense to Tampa, but the LA defense versus the Tampa Bay defense, give me the Rams defense every damn day.
Yep. Well, it would be interesting. The reason I asked you is that, and under the circumstances we just put there, that's going to put the Green Bay at the Rams in the second wave of this thing.
Well, let me ask you this, though, Pat. Do you still think Chicago wins the division?
No.
Right.
Nope.
Now,
do you think Chicago makes the playoffs?
Yeah.
Over who?
Well, I said that pretty quickly.
Who are you taking out? Oh, I guess.
Well, let me just say,
Detroit out.
Detroit's going to get in. If you bump Chicago all the way out, either Green Bay or Detroit's going to go up to the 3 hole, because Tampa Bay is not going to get to the 3 spot. The NFC North winner will be that, and the second guy will be a wild card. So Detroit would get in, and I think Chicago could fall out. That last game of the year could be for that.
I do think Tampa can get to 10, though. I think they can get to 10 wins with their remaining schedule.
I think that last game is got Sunday Night Football written all over it. I do think we have to get ready for a Baltimore-Buffalo 4-5 game.
Yep.
That the Bills at the end of the day will be the 5, and the AFC North champion will be the 4. So it'll be ironic they will start and end the seasons, so if you will, against each other, at least for one of the teams.
And I got to tell you, did you guys watch Lamar moving around?
He's not healthy.
Nope. He is far from healthy, and Buffalo, I think, would beat them. But I don't know. For all the years I've been doing this, I've always felt the 5 seeds are almost always better than the 4 seeds.
Yep. Yeah. By the way, your point on Indianapolis, I looked at it quickly. Only the Rams have a better point differential in the entire league than the Colts.
Yep. They're good enough to be in and win a round.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. JP Shadrick will join us in 40 minutes. He's got Chiefs Cowboys for Westwood 1 this week. He's got the Iron Bowl this week. He's part of the Jags radio network. More with JP in 40 minutes. Right now, it's more with Pat Kirwan. NFL Radio's Moving the Chain, CBS's NFL Today show, courtesy of Pinchers. Level of concern with the Eagles after what you saw against the Cowboys, scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, to go the distance, yeah, I am concerned. They got there last year because of Saquon Barkley first. Other things were factors, but he was the primary factor. He's nowhere near what he was. And then you look at the way they decided to play the game the other day in Dallas. It was 17 pass and 5 run. When they got to 21-0, it was, and I don't count Jalen running. I'm talking about when Saquon, a run play is called, 17-5, and they're up 21, and they did not sit on that and start to, you would think with Saquon they'd start grinding it. They did not. They just kept chucking it along, and Saquon after the game looked like a man that lost his spirit. He said, I got to find what's wrong with me. Maybe it's the offensive line, but he got down to 2 yards of carry in that game when they needed him most. So not a good look for them on that stage. And I feel like Brown won the argument, if you will. And I don't know if they're trying to placate him by throwing all the time, but they got to 21-0. There were 3 minutes and 25 seconds left in the second quarter, plus 30 more minutes of football. So for 33 minutes and 25 seconds, they did not score again. I don't know where they are, and the line play is a little suspect, to say the least. They lost Blankenship. I don't know how long he's going to be out. He's a pretty good player. I think they can win a round or two, but I think the Rams could beat their rear ends, and if it comes down to that in a championship game.
All right. We talked about this during the break. For those that are taking us in via YouTube or Twitch, they heard it. But a texter on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line says, what's wrong with the Ravens? They've won 5 in a row, yet they still don't look like a team that can win a Super Bowl. Pat, what's wrong with the Ravens, if anything at all?
Lamar. First off, they've had to play without Lamar, and they've gone through 2 guys. One guy actually won a game, so now everyone thinks someone actually thought they should bench Lamar. That's not what they're going to do. I don't think he's healthy. All you have to do is watch him run, and you realize he's not able to run. and he goes 7 times for 11 yards. So here's what I say about that. I don't know who's going to have the guts to not spy him, but if you come to the conclusion that he's not able to run like he has in the past, there is no reason to respect how he was in the past. And now all of a sudden you got a blitzer or you got an extra guy in coverage. And in a red zone, you're going to double Big Andrews because that's his favorite guy down there. But I think the dimension of Lamar is limited for physical reasons. Do you guys agree or disagree?
No, he's definitely not healthy. He's definitely not healthy. He's not running as much. He doesn't look nearly as good. He doesn't have the burst.
Nope.
When he runs. All right. And, let's face it, he probably came back when he wasn't 100%. And he's not wanting to do something because if he gets hurt again, he'll miss the rest of the season.
Right. And they're winning just enough, to the caller's point, that he's here to save the day, because that season was going down the drain. So they got the little winning streak going. They got to play Pittsburgh twice. That's never been good when he's 100%. They know how to play Lamar better than anybody. So he's got big games coming up, and I hope he's going to play through his injury and come out the other side, the guy that can run. But if he's going to be like this, that dimension of the game is not going to be part of it. People will figure that out pretty quickly now and take advantage of playing them straight. Playing them straight makes him a pocket passer, and I don't think anyone's scared to death of that.
For our former producer Trent and my Michigan roots, if you're a Lions fan right now, I'd be nervous as hell. I mean, they barely win against Jameis and the Giants. They looked terrible against the Eagles, and wow, they looked fantastic against the Commanders. This just in, the Commanders suck. So if you're looking at the Lions right now, and you and I both think they're going to qualify for the postseason, Pat, how sure are you? Because their schedule, they've got a couple of difficult games left. They play the Packers, they play the Bears, they play the Rams. Detroit looked like a team that could beat teams that were beneath them. Right now, I'm not so sure.
Well, they've been another team wounded in the offensive line, and I think it shows up. Now, the young kid, Gibbs, he seems to be able to get around that problem. He's very dynamic. Goff is a pocket passer. His launch point never changes. And if you can't protect that midline where he throws from, then he's going to get sacked and ultimately take too many risks and throw some interceptions. But they still average almost 30 points a game. They're number 2 in scoring in the league. So can they outscore you? Well, some teams, but they got to play Green Bay, who's given up under 20 points a game. I look at the Rams are number 1 in defense giving up points. They just passed Houston. So when you play teams like that can minimize your ability to score, then I think they get in some trouble. And have any of you guys seen who rushes the passer opposite Hutchinson? Because I don't see one. I keep looking, but there's no one over there.
His name's Jalen Phillips, and he's in Philadelphia, Pat.
Oh, David, you could have been the GM at Detroit and solved that problem.
Listen, don't get me started. I would have, in the offseason, I would have purchased Hendrickson. Okay, you name it. All right. Honestly, come on. The window is now. The window with this core is this year and next year. So I don't give a damn about the first-round picks in 28 and 29 and 30. I don't care. We've never been to the big game. Never mind win it. All right. This is our best chance in the Super Bowl era. What are we doing holding on to draft picks, even for Brad Holmes, who seemingly never misses? I don't get it. Look how wide open these two conferences are right now. Never mind in the AFC. Seriously, the AFC is a total crapshoot. You mean to tell me a general manager couldn't have delivered a Super Bowl for his team if he had been aggressive in that conference?
I 100% agree with you. And you got to know when you're one player away from closing the gap on the top. And then you start to ask yourself, well, why did they do it? They're not cheap. Why did they do it? Did they?
I mean, look at the bill. I'm sorry, Pat. Look at the bills. Okay, if what's been reported is true, they offered a 1 and a 3 for the wide receiver, and the Dolphins said, "Well, flip which year you're giving us the 1 and the 3, and we'll do the deal." And they said, "No, I'm sorry, I can't take you seriously."
Yeah. Well, you're not getting an argument from me. Like I said, you're the GM of choice here, but I wonder, back to Detroit's defensive issues to me. First off, I never thought Davenport was going to be any good at this. I thought he's just a pure journeyman. Did they actually think that guy was the complement to Hutch on the other side that was going to be good? I don't know. It looks like they thought so.
Yeah, they seem to be and it's a sore spot with me because I'm a Michigan native, and the baseball team didn't make any moves at the deadlines, and they got bounced, and the football team didn't make any moves at the deadline, and they look like they're a player or two short.
Yeah, and I think their biggest mistake was, now it doesn't look like it's a big mistake. I think they knew he wasn't that good because they gave him a 1-year deal, and when you give a guy a 1-year deal, a low ball number, you just think he's going to be one of the fill-in backups. But at first, they kept telling me, Marcus is going to be the guy. I think they were just trying to tell me that because I never believed it, and he hasn't been. But as long as you don't have someone on the other side that's going to cause chaos, you're going to have. Even Cleveland's got, not that he's got a lot of sacks, but
right,
the right kid got a new little extension. He kind of
Pat
looks
Kirwan.
like he might be good.
He's Pat Kirwan. NFL Radio's moving the chains.
Happy Thanksgiving, Pat.
Back at you, boys.
The differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So, Michael, you are then telling me that collard greens are not an appropriate Thanksgiving side dish. Is that what you're saying? Because it's a Southern side dish, and it is a Thanksgiving side that people have. It is also a barbecue side. It is also a side a lot of times of the year. So are mashed potatoes. That would mean that actually stuffing is the only, or dressing, whatever you want to call it, is really the only Thanksgiving side dish. Because let's be honest, I guess you could do a roast pork loin with some stuffing, but how often do we have stuffing? How often? Not that often. Seems like Thanksgiving's it. It's wonderful. Probably should be served more. And mac and cheese, for a lot of people, is a Thanksgiving side dish. It's a vegetable. And Michael, give me this twice baked sweet potatoes with marshmallows. That's not a Thanksgiving side dish. It's a rich guy thing. I mean, you're going all out here. Sweet potato casserole's your side dish. Homemade cranberry sauce, Left Twix. It's got to be homemade. Anybody that pours something out of a can, you enjoy your canned cranberries with your canned green beans. Might as well use gravy out of a jar. Yes, I did, Javier. Thank you. I most certainly did. What's funny, Javier, is that my son's now 26. There's a guy that used to work in this building, Jeff Zito, and he and I are friends, and our kids are the same age. So we hung out a lot when our boys are both Jake. And that movie was on one time when Zito was at my house, and Zito and I are dying to My Blue Heaven. So it's a vegetable. All these years later, if either of our kids still, I think they're 25 and 26. I don't think his son's 26 yet. If either of our kids see arugula to this day, and they were probably 7 years old when we saw the movie, that either of them will go, arugula, it's a vegetable. Love that movie. What are you doing here in the frozen foods? You could melt all this stuff. Oh, Johnny, I know. Trust me, it was a little direction towards my co-host. Don't kid yourself with the canned everything going right at David. You know what? I'm not a huge arugula fan. And Michael, just so you know, I'm mixing the collards and mustard greens together. I'm doing both. Oh, prime rib's not a Thanksgiving choice. It's not even, come on, Left Twix. If there's a second meat, it's ham. I'm using ham hocks. I'm using ham hocks, Deadstroke. I made the chicken stock over the weekend. I've got like quarts upon quarts of homemade chicken stock.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
A show that is flying by 22 minutes before the top of the hour, the Diamond District bonus hour, when JP Shadrick will join us. A lot on his plate this week. Thanksgiving week. We're live tomorrow. We're best of Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Jam-packed show tomorrow. Lee Sterling with picks. We'll make ours. Seth Everett. Who else? Bud Elliott.
Chris
Roy
Perkins.
Cummings, Chris Perkins. I mean, yeah, that's 5 guests, and there's always room for more, kind of like, in my stomach. So Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X, encouraging everyone to vote in our poll questions because they don't have anything to do with sports, so you'll love them. And they're Thanksgiving poll questions. Best side dish, mashed potatoes or stuffing. Then
Man,
there's
mashed potatoes just kicking stuffing's ass right now, and I don't like it. It bothers me.
it's around 60-40. It's close enough. It's early returns. That's all. It's the panhandle. I mean, don't worry. We'll get below I-4 votes here coming in shortly. Then there's the best side dish that is not mashed potatoes or stuffing, which is a controversial question in and of itself. By the way, mac and cheese did not make the survey.
I thought it would run away with it. I just left it off completely.
And then best way to cook a turkey, roasting it, frying it, smoking it.
We're traditionalists on this show. 51% of you saying roasting the turkey. And the sweet potato casserole getting big votes. David, question for you. You're either sitting at the table or going through a Thanksgiving, buffet, if they do it buffet style, or we're sitting at the big table and the sides are getting passed around. The sweet potato casserole comes to you. Are you taking a small scoop, a big scoop, or are you just passing it to the next person?
I would rather die than eat it. I hate sweet potatoes. Hate them. Not much I hate in life. I hate sweet potatoes. Okay. I would try to grab the dish in a way that there's no way possible that any of it could end up on any of my fingertips. I would try actually to nudge the person next to me and say, hey, can you take that? I don't even want to touch the dish. I hate it.
Okay. So let's just say you're at, a guest's home. And
Right.
I don't want to say mine because you tell me to go pound sand.
Right.
Let's just say you're at the Aikman household.
Uh-huh.
And Troy is somebody there says,
right,
you got to try the sweet potato casserole. Would you pressure a spoonful just to appease the hosts?
No. I would look right. And when they say you have to try this sweet potato casserole, I'd go, no, I don't. No, I don't.
Wow. There's a potato that David doesn't like. I
Yep.
think I've got to be honest with you.
And as an Irishman, that's tough to find. Yes, it is. No, absolutely not. You've got to try it. No, I don't. No, nothing. I've read all the rules. I've read the Constitution, the Declaration of the Independence, okay, the Pledge of Allegiance, the Star Spangled Banner, you name it. I've read them all. There's nothing that says I have to do this. No. I've read the Bible. No, there's nothing. No. Nope.
You know what? I will agree with you. I do not believe there is a Bible verse that says you have to eat sweet potatoes.
Not even in Ireland. No,
sure
there's
right.
not. Nope. Nope. Whether it's the Protestant part or the Irish part. And by the way, if you're Irish, you believe there's only one part, but that's a whole other story.
You got fish and wine for everybody. There's nothing in that passage about sweet potatoes, David.
Nope.
Not a damn thing.
Nope. And nothing about casserole. And I love a good casserole, but no. It ain't happening. Nope. Nope. I actually think Thanksgiving is one of the rare holiday meals in which plates of food get passed around and people pass on it. Okay, like if you're having Christmas dinner, who passes on anything that's at the Christmas table? I think there are so many choices at the Thanksgiving table that you can legitimately pass on a couple of them and not offend anyone. Because usually the plate's not big enough for all the choices anyway.
I think you're right. I didn't know there was a potato you wouldn't eat, and now we have come to the conclusion that there is one. It is a sweet potato.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Fair enough. You mentioned Chris Parker. I want to just spend a couple of seconds on this because I got a text from a buddy yesterday who was just talking about Pickens with the Cowboys and how good he is and how did the Steelers let him go for what they let him go for. I'm like, well, he's a head case and maybe CD Lamb's got him playing hard. He wants a contract. We'll see because he's no one will deny how talented he is.
No, and we said it, he's a number one. He's not a number two. Okay, I think he's a number one. Now, he may not be Jefferson, Chase, even CD Lamb number one, but I think he's a one. Like, do you think there's 15 wide receivers better than him? I mean, remember, you need 32. You can
No,
be
no,
a one.
I know what you're saying. I mean, Thomas Jr. or Pickens?
Pickens.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm just, I mean, that's
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, he's like the quarterback who, I don't know. Yeah, okay, he's the 14th best quarterback in the NFL. You got to pay him. I don't know what to tell you.
No, I got you. And then he, kind of we went back and forth, and he's like, Pittsburgh's in that spot you don't want to be in, a little above average, 9-6, 9-8, 10-7, missed the playoffs, go out in the first round. They're just stale. And my response was, the Dolphins are trying to do the same thing right now. I mean, if this Thanksgiving's going to suck for you, Dolphin, because you might just win again, and all you're doing is killing your potential to get a good draft pick. And I don't know what what do you want out of your team? Your team to collapse and miss the playoffs by a game, or your team to just flat out stink for 8 weeks and then play well enough to make you think, oh, well, maybe we're okay. We finished strong. The Lions finished strong a couple years ago, and look what happened to them.
I think it's worse for Dolphin than the situation you just laid out. Because if they finish as strong as they may, do you know what comes along with that? Forget the loss of a top 5 draft pick, and now it becomes like the 15th pick.
Oh, I know what comes with it. We all know what comes with it.
The head coach stays.
Yep.
The quarterback stays. And do they really bring in a strong personnel person from outside the organization? Probably not. Probably just promote the interim guy who, granted, made a deal right away, traded Jalen Phillips for a third. Okay.
Held on to Waddle because it wasn't the right deal for the team. So you could argue that that's a good thing going down the road, because you have a gifted receiver who I think drops the ball too much.
So
he's not. I don't think he's a 1, by the way. I mean, like Waddle or Pickens. Who do you want?
Pickens.
And it ain't close, is it?
Now, Waddle's a good soldier, and he's not a diva, and I don't have to worry about him. That part of him is better. Better player on the field? Oh, Pickens. Not even close.
So it's just
now, it does need to be pointed out, Pickens is playing, and he's on the field almost every time, and CeeDee Lamb is also on the field.
Yep.
I mean, he's going to get a little more coverage if he decides to play for someone else. It's why if I was Pickens, I'd get the most I could out of Jera, all right, and I'd stay. I got a top 10 quarterback in the league, and for all you folks that don't think Dak Prescott's top 10, I don't know what to tell you. We're going to agree to disagree. You're wrong. And you got one of the top 5 wide receivers, at least in terms of how defenses are going to pay attention to him on the other side. Pickens couldn't be in a better situation, I don't believe, in the league.
But Waddle was in that situation with Hill and never, exploded off the scene either.
Yeah, but I don't know with the Dolphins. But see, Tua didn't throw it around the way Dak will throw it around. I mean, look in the second half. CD dropped a couple balls. He threw the ball to Pickens for an hour. Do we ever remember Tyreek being on the field and Tua throwing the ball to Waddle for an hour?
By the way, your Miami Dolphins are hosting the New Orleans Saints this Sunday at Hard Rock Stadium. Currently, you can get a pair of lower bowl tickets for $56. That's right, lower bowl tickets at today. Today, 56. By Sunday, could be $40. You can get into the game right now for $37.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Every one of you that pays money, that's less of a chance that Stephen Ross will make changes. You need to hurt him where? In the wallet.
As this texter said on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line, everything you guys said is the reason I'm no longer a Dolphins fan. It never changes. The Fins are dead to me until Ross sells the team. He'll die before he sells the team, guys. I'm just telling you. He's not selling the team. It's not happening. It's a toy that he likes. He's not around it much, but he likes to play with it from time to time. It's like a rod hockey game that you've got in the back closet. You pull it out once in a while and you go, man, this game's really fun. I think I'll keep it.
Javier asks, what about Pickens in Green Bay, Denver, or Buffalo? Yes. Buffalo's cap situation is not good. And if I'm a Bills fan, I'm asking why. We only got 2-3 guys that everybody else would want. The whole rest of the team's a bunch of guys. They really are. I mean, Rousseau's just a guy.
Oliver's just a guy.
Yeah, Milano can't stay healthy. Love him, can't stay healthy, and he's undersized, and now he's in his 30s. I mean, you got a quarterback, a running back, and I think your left tackle's pretty good. I mean, honestly, otherwise, seriously, why are you in the cap situation that you're in? You're overpaying a bunch of guys. Okay?
Yeah,
and
McDermott gets grief there, and I think there should be more fingers pointing upstairs for the deals they made and the draft picks that they've made than what the head coach is doing.
Yeah, I just don't know how many people think that the GM is operating. A lot of people there think that the coach is it all goes through the coach, kind of like Andy Reid. Okay, Brett Veach gets some credit, but nothing happens in Kansas City without Andy signing off on it. It's the same in Buffalo. McDermott's got to sign off on what the GM's doing because he brought the GM there. He was there first.
But I think, at least from the drafting standpoint, yeah, maybe McDermott has its final say, but I don't think ultimately if you're coaching the team all year that you can't put some trust into your GM and scouts for setting up your board. I think some of that's got to fall on the GM because they've done a horrible job drafting there.
I don't disagree. But that's for next year, guys. We're dealing with this year, and we have a Super Bowl that is wide open. Wide open. Flavor of the month this week is the LA Rams.
And in the AFC right now, the Patriots have the bye. The Broncos, Colts, and Ravens would be hosting playoff games. The Chargers, Jags, and Bills would be on the road, and the Chiefs are out.
Honest question, and this could be a poll question. Today, it's the playoffs. Kansas City's at New England. Who you taking?
Kansas City.
That's why if you're the rest of the AFC, you have to keep them out. This is the 8th seed in hockey with a great goalie. You got to keep them out of the playoffs. They can dance with Lord Stanley. You got to keep the Chiefs out of the playoffs. You have to.
Yeah, if you're a fan of any team in the AFC, you have never pulled the pom-poms out harder for the Dallas Cowboys than you will on Thursday.
Because if they get in, come on. What was it, 2 years ago? Okay, they went to Buffalo and Baltimore back-to-back on the road and won. You think any of the teams in the AFC playoffs this year are as good as the 2023 Bills and 2023 Ravens? Hell no. Don't let them in. Do not let them in.
And currently, they're a game back, but they're also technically behind the Steelers and Texans. So
I think they play Houston coming up.
They do. They do. Next week, Houston and the Chiefs. After the Chiefs take on the Cowboys. That's one of the games that JP Shadrick is covering this week. He is a busy man. Thanksgiving in Dallas, Iron Bowl in the Plains, and then the Jags on Sunday. We'll talk to him next. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hi, JP.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Your thoughts on the red clay strays?
I know of them. I'm not deep into them. I should be, because I have a lot of people who tell me they're really, really fantastic. So
they are. I know you're a music guy. Whatever song they just did at the CMAs, it's kind of a new single. It's out. It's like my daughter, who hates every bit of music that I like. I played that for her, and she went, "That's kind of pop, Dad." I'm like, "Funny, it sounds like rock to me," and they say it's country. So
right.
I'm like, that's a good mix. If 3 different people can think 3 different things about a band,
hey, that tells you, hey, good is good no matter the genre, right? I mean,
100%, 100%.
The label shouldn't matter. It's whether it's good or not. So, yeah, I need to get into those guys a little bit.
Hopefully your travel works very well for you this Thanksgiving, Jay.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I've got the 5 a.m. tomorrow just to try to get ahead of it. And,
good move.
I probably should have taken the nonstop to Dallas. There's an American, but I'm the Delta guy. So
you're that guy. You're like
one of
other buddies there.
I'm the Delta guy. So I got to get the dollars to get to the status, and I'm close. It's that. So.
God almighty, the 2 guys, Joe's 2 spotters are the same way. The one guy's a Delta guy, the other guy's an American guy. You should see how they rearrange their flying schedules so that they can be on their airlines for the points.
Well, we'll see. And I'll be in Atlanta by 6 a.m. So hopefully I'll be ahead of any
that's
potential
fine.
issues in Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing on that day. So,
and then once you get that, are you getting back? When's the Alabama Auburn game is at night, right?
It's a night game on Saturday. So I'm flying from Dallas straight to Atlanta on Friday, midday. And staying by the airport. Yeah.
And then early home Sunday, I take it.
First flight out is 7:30 Sunday morning. I land at 8:30. I'll be on the air at 10.
Ooh.
Pre-game.
Ooh, that's a long day.
Yeah, it's cool though.
I doubt you'd have it any other way.
Nope, I would not. How long we got?
We've got a minute and 15 seconds.
Okay, hang on. I'll be right back. Hang on.
He definitely has. I'm with you, Javier. There's a little Elvis, and I know it's not voice-wise, but he's got that Chris Isaac look too. But that's an Elvis hair thing, yeah.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Not a problem.
I think we have an up and down the field game on Thursday.
Yes, I agree with that.
It's we'll see if this would be the week, the get right week for the Chiefs offense in theory, but
they are a different team up front though with Quinnen Williams.
No doubt. They've changed.
They have 3 defensive tackles. They can rotate them. They've actually put all 3 on the field and gone with a 5-man bear front.
They play them all.
They're different now. They are.
Mm-hmm. But the Chiefs don't run anyway, so
no, they don't even try.
Mm-mm.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour on this Tuesday before Thanksgiving. A reminder, live show tomorrow, best of on Thanksgiving and on Black Friday. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We have 3 Thanksgiving poll questions. Please vote. We'll get a little personal with JP Shadrick here for a moment or two because he has an amazing broadcasting week. Somebody born and raised, wanted to do this for a living, and this is one of the 1 week a year in which he goes, you know what? It was all worth it. The other 51 weeks, you can catch him on a weak moment, but not this week, baby. Chiefs, Cowboys for Westwood 1 on Thanksgiving, the Iron Bowl for the Touchdown Radio Network on Saturday, and all his work with the Jags and the Jags Radio Network. JP joins us now. Follow him on X at JP Shadrick, Shadrick. Do you have a preference as a play-by-play guy, a pro game or a college game?
I believe the prep for an NFL game, it's odd because there's less players, right? So you're not having to dig as deep, but there's so much information. It's information overload in the NFL. I mean, especially on some of these bigger games, big window games. I mean, it's like you just at some point you got to turn off and remember that, okay, the game between the lines matters, not all these stats and things that come in. The college game, okay, there is a limit to the prep for the 100 players on each team. The third guard probably isn't going to play, and if he does, he's a walk-on or a freshman. So I try to limit the prep in that. But when it comes to environment, week to week, college football is top tier. I mean, it is like just in Atlanta last week. I mean, yeah, they were down big, but they're rallying back, and it's a college environment. It's the Georgia Tech. They got a chance, and you don't get a lot of that week to week in the NFL until it's like a big window game, and Thanksgiving's a special day. So I love both for different reasons. It's both are fun. It's the NFL's just a more dialed in product, I think, overall, just because everything's locked in. It's a 3-hour game. You know how long you're going to be, and you have plans after.
I do want to ask you this because I've never done a football game. I've done basketball. I've done hockey. I've never done baseball or football. And when you have an analyst, you're going to rely on them for strategy and things of that nature. When you're prepping for a game, is it bigger to dig in on the player and the story with the player or the statistical information about the team? And does it change Saturday versus Sunday, if you know what I mean?
From a radio perspective, there's not a lot of time for storytelling, at least in my part, on a player, unless there's a blowout game, and you got to tell the story of the third string Alabama running back who was in a car accident 3 years ago and hurt his leg, and he was a 5-star, whatever. That thing, you can save some of that stuff for a little later in a blowout loss or a win or whatever. But when it's a tight football game, and to me, it's more about who is it? What have they done? What does it mean for the game and the season? And that's about it for me. I need to figure out who it is and get out of the way. Let the analyst describe what and why just happened. Right? TV, probably a little different perspective. I don't do much TV. You need a little more of that. Dave's all over that. Like they have to have some of those storylines. There's not as intricate on the description of the game because you're looking at it. So that's my perspective on, and that's the same for college and pro. I mean, like for me, it's we know who Patrick Mahomes is and what he means to the Chiefs and to the league right now. But I need to tell you what he's doing in the game.
JP Shadrick, Westwood 1, Thanksgiving, Chiefs Cowboys, Touchdown Radio Network, Saturday night, the Iron Bowl, Jags Radio Network. It's interesting with Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. So in the first part of the season, he wasn't turning it over. We were lamenting the plays he wasn't making. Now in the last couple of games, even though they're wins, he has seemingly said, you know what, I'm going to go back to being old Trevor. I'll make some plays. I'll throw some picks. What the hell? I don't care. I mean, it's interesting. I'm almost curious which one the head coach wants. The guy who wasn't making any mistakes but wasn't making many plays, and this guy, holy blank, what are you going to get?
Well, this is what the coach wanted when he told him in a conversation last week, hey, Trevor, we want you to let it rip. Well, this is letting it rip. I mean, this is what happens, like you're going to throw it in some tight windows. I will say this. After the Cardinals game, Liam Cohen said he had 3 interceptions in the game. The first one was a tip ball by Calais Campbell at the line of scrimmage. It's not tipped. It's thrown on line. It's a touchdown underneath the goalpost, and that would have been a great play, but a good play by them. Buda Baker made a diving catch on the last interception. Might have been picked on the back end behind him anyway, but hey, give credit to Buda Baker. He made a good play. And the second one was just a bad decision. So, that's going to happen. But then he throws 3 touchdown passes and makes the check at the line with Parker Washington. They have the signal and they do the thing and he gets open. And, so there's some really good things that are starting to happen as well. But that's the Trevor Lawrence experience. That's what it's going to be. That's what we know and love.
Is that an attraction, Mark? Is that a ride at Disney?
No. It's a band. It's a band that drinks too much. It's like when you saw Aerosmith in New York and they got
in the 80s
the stage because they were all drunk, and you could catch them another time and they were fantastic.
Ladies and gentlemen,
they are the
Trevor Lawrence experience.
It's kind of what it is,
It is. And by the way, Liam, I'm still going to be a proponent of you kicking a field goal and going up by 6.
See, we've been talking about this for 2 days, and this is Liam Cohen. He had it earlier in the year and made the same thing. Hey, we're going to go finish the game, and that's great if you finish the game.
Yeah, he's 0 for 2, by the way. Just so you know, he's 0 for 2 doing that. Okay. That's kind of it's the Liam Cohen experience. Well, it sucks. Okay. I want my money back. Golly.
Sorry, Ticketmaster does not grant refunds, sir. So that's what it is. So this is what Liam's going to do, and that's what it is. I think he reviews it. It's his first year as a coach too. Like he might after the season adjust.
You expect a fan base to be able to handle the Trevor Lawrence experience and the Liam Cohen experience
at the
same time in the same game?
Dave, you know what those experiences have right now?
Here we go.
7-4 record, okay? Yep. And you know what? A game back in the division. And you know what? Again, 6th seed in the AFC playoffs at the moment, and could be going up because the Jaguars face the Titans this week, who stink out loud, and then they host the Indianapolis Colts in what could be for the division lead in 2 weeks. So it's everything right there in front of them. The Colts schedule stinks. It really is tough. They might falter down the stretch. The Titans are awful. The Texans are the one you got to worry about coming from behind. But it's all set up for the Jaguars right now with those experiences in hand.
And don't screw. I mean, this sounds overly simple, but don't screw it up. Go win at Tennessee. They showed a little life offensively in the second half against Seattle. They scored some points. Jacksonville's defense has looked better here the past few weeks. This is a Belichick line. Do your job, right, JP? I mean, that's really what this is this week. Just do your job.
Do your job. Just go win the game, and you know what? Smother this team. Win by 1. I don't care how, whatever. That's fine. But this is one where you got to go up there and just dominate the proceedings from the jump. Don't even make it a game. Run the football all over them and limit the Trevor Lawrence experience. That's what happened in the Chargers game. They ran the ball 47 times in the game. That helps.
I got to feel like I'm buying a ticket to the mosh pit, okay, with the Jags. Don't you think? Okay, you're going to get your money's worth, but you don't know if you'll survive. Okay, don't you feel like that's what this is right now between Trevor and Liam? This is fun. It's going to be fun. I'm going to get my money's worth. I'm not sure if I walk out or I get carried.
You might get your ass kicked at the concert. This ain't the ABBA show, right? This is the
no,
this is not that.
No. No, and Mark's right. This isn't the sober Aerosmith show. This is the drunk Aerosmith show.
This is the Guns N' Roses running off stage.
Yes.
And, all that, right? Yep. Axl Rose leaving and punching the photographer show.
Yeah, there's 20th century Guns N' Roses, 21st century. Very different shows. Very different.
And we talk about every other team's injuries. No one really brings it up with the Jags. They've gone through their spell, and I mean, they keep on keeping on. You have to give this team credit. And as much as we got on Liam Cohen for not kicking a couple of field goals, he has his team with an unbelievable buy-in. To me, they showed that after the loss to the Texans to come back and kick the crap out of the Chargers the next week. And you know what? They got it done in Arizona. A bad Jacksonville team or an average Jacksonville team would have figured out a way to screw that game up. They're all, we can question it all we want, but JP, you're around that clubhouse, that locker room. They've bought in, right?
They're in it. I mean, it's all about that and him in front of the room and bringing that energy, and they can relate to him, like he's 40 years old. So yeah. And he's got a different kind of, we see it in the post-game locker room interviews that go out too. I mean, that's about as raw as it gets from the head coach. And it's, I think it's really caught on. Now, to your point about the injuries, the only one that's really season-ending right now that we know of is Travis Hunter. So, in theory, they could be getting some of these starting players back on defense. Not sure about Trayvon Walker. That's the knee injury popped up last week. We'll see about that one moving as the weeks go on. But the secondary, Jordan Lewis could be back. Eric Murray, the safety, could be back at some point. And in the offensive line, they haven't had Anton Harrison for 2 weeks. That hasn't really been much of an issue. And let's see what happens from there. Brian Thomas Jr. hasn't played in 2 weeks. They haven't really missed him on offense. So what do they do offensively with a deep threat? They don't have that right now. But the defense has been holding on without their full starting lineup.
30 seconds tops. The Iron Bowl on the Plains versus the Iron Bowl at Bryant-Denny. It feels like a different game. I've been to both, so have you. You've done them in both places. Doesn't it feel like a different game when it's at Auburn?
It's just a weird vibe when you walk in that place in late November. I mean, weird things happen. I wouldn't be shocked if this goes into the fourth quarter because Auburn's defense can kind of hang, and Alabama can't run the ball. It might be their worst rushing offense since, Mike Shula. So that is not Alabama football. This is not what everybody's used to, and it could get interesting on Saturday.
Mark, the Mike Shula experience, people left early from. Okay,
I lived that one too, by the way.
Yeah, I know you did. JP Shadrick, safe travels. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk soon.
You too, guys. Appreciate you.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I didn't realize your game was at 1 o'clock today.
Oh, yeah. Fired up.
By the way, it's on FS2.
Oh,
I know you'll be there. You won't care.
If you wouldn't have just said something about that game, I'd have forgotten all about calling a guest here.
No, he's calling us.
Oh, even better. I would have forgotten about answering it. Damn, way to go, Jeff Melky. Did he hook me up with some good seats? No, we have not, Michael.
No. Now, Michael, I've helped you going the other way as much as I can.
I did not realize I just told him. I was just looking up some of his, numbers and when he played. And I'm like, who was on some of those Nuggets teams when he first got there? And he played with Mark Macon, who's my guy from Saginaw.
Ah, yeah.
Like, he played with Mark Macon. He started laughing. He's played against him in college, played with him in Denver for a year. I'm like, he's like, shaking bacon, Mark Macon. I says, yep, I got a buddy whose claim to fame was holding him to 20 in a high school game. And that was an accomplishment back then.
Oh, yeah. And Mark Macon carried a Temple team to an Elite Eight.
Yeah. Yeah. He could stroke it. Never fast enough to be great. All right, here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when is how we will wrap up the show. Make sure you answer our poll questions. 3 of them all having to do with Thanksgiving. This is a thrill for us. We've never had LaPhonso Ellis on our show. Thrilled to welcome a guy who was a standout at Notre Dame, an 11-year NBA career, and now he's had a long broadcasting career. He's with the Big Ten Network and Fox and their family of networks. He's in Southwest Florida for the Fort Myers Shootout. He's got a couple of games today, East Carolina and Michigan State at 1, North Carolina and St. Bonaventure at 6. LaPhonso, it's David and Mark. Thanks for doing this. How are you?
David and Mark, thank you guys for having me on. I'm doing really well. Thank you very much. It's hard to complain down here. It's 80-plus degrees.
Yes, it is. Hey, listen, with everything that's going on in the sport that you love and that you cover, do you ever take a moment and go, wow, I wonder how different, if at all, my journey would have been if we had the rules 35 years ago that we had today?
All of the rules, or are you talking about
anything? Just the whole experience.
Yeah, my personality is such that I'm always kind of in the moment, and so it's hard for me to kind of think outside of that and go back, because I'm very grateful for each day and for where I am. But I'd imagine as a young 18-year-old, I was a starter at Notre Dame from day one. And so what would have been the outside forces that maybe would have had me a little disgruntled, and maybe when I went through a little bit of a challenge, would I have been willing to stay and work my way through the challenge, that I would be more mature and have a greater perspective at the end of that process? Or would I have just succumb to the discomfort and said, that I can get out of this, I can go to another school because I can transfer at any time, I can even transfer mid-semester? Or a situation where maybe one of my teammates was maybe making more in NIL than I would have been making, with my ego and my flesh have gotten in the way and caused me to be dissatisfied in that situation and look for greater opportunities. But I will admit, I tell everybody all the time, if I would have just had $30 to $40 a week, it would have allowed me to be able to do my laundry, take my future wife out for a little pizza. It would have been great. So I'm really grateful and happy for the guys that they actually are able to do revenue sharing. I do think the system that we have now that we call NIL is not, because let's say you, David, Mark, and I were all Michigan State grads, and we did really well for ourselves in terms of business, and we're multimillionaires. And what we have now is Coach Izzo, once we get a top recruit, you and I, all 3 of us, would call and say, okay, what's it going to cost? Let's say it's $2 million. The 3 of us, we split that, and we give the athletic department the money that they need to go get a guy. To me, that's pay for play. The NIL is truly the 3 of us that's done really well for ourselves. Our target audience has been 38 to 58-year-old men. We want to get younger. There's a kid at Michigan State currently that we think has a huge following. We want to build a relationship with that person, pay that person whatever it is, $100,000 to wear our brand, to show up at our stores, to put our information out on the different social media pages, so that we can get a younger audience. To me, that's true name, image, and likeness, and I think we need to move towards that direction. Otherwise, we're no different today than the programs of yesteryear who were cheating and paying guys under the table. We've just legalized it.
No doubt. No doubt. We had Coach Izzo on yesterday, and I didn't think about asking him this till this morning, so I'll ask you, because I was asking him about work ethic and how tough it is, and he gave an answer. But to me, the high school ball was it. I'm old. You played high school ball. AAU, NIL, and all those things are what they are. But getting a kid to work hard when they grow up in the AAU system where they mostly just play games, and there's not a lot of practice. It's go play a tournament. You play 7-8 games in 2 days. How difficult is it to establish practice and work ethic and fundamentals for players when for the 5-6 years before they even get to college, they're playing more games than anything else?
Yeah, I think for some, and obviously it's hard to paint a broad brush over anything nor anyone, but I would say it would be challenging because when you're playing in all of those AAU games, et cetera, there's two things that come to mind. I think you're desensitized to losing. Again, not every kid, but over the broad swath of kids out there, I think that's the case. And so now all of a sudden, if something's not done well and done with excellence, all of a sudden you kind of have this laissez-faire attitude about it. And then on the other side is, as I'm watching a lot of these EYBL games, etc., not a whole lot of defense going on out there. So most of you talking about Coach Izzo, when you come into his program, if you play defense, you have an opportunity to play. No matter how talented you are, if you're not guarding for him, you're just not going to have the opportunity to play. So I'd imagine it's challenging for many kids coming in.
LaPhonso Ellis, Big Ten Network, the Fox family of networks in Southwest Florida for the Fort Myers shootout, Michigan State, East Carolina at 1, and then North Carolina, St. Bonaventure at 6. What do you think of this Michigan State team? Do they have a higher ceiling than maybe the last 2 or 3? Can they get back to being upper echelon with this group?
That's a funny question because I had that question recently, and I'm kind of like, well, that team last year did get to the Elite Eight. And I love this team that he has this year. I think Jeremy Fears is an absolute stud at the point guard position. He's leading the nation in assists right now at over 10 a game. You look inside, Jackson Kohler, that kid he's injured obviously his first year, so he wasn't as impactful as we thought he would be. Well, he's that guy now. He's consistently a double-double guy and has added a 3-ball to his game as well, which opens up the floor. And then on the wing, I don't know, man. You don't get more explosive out of transition and as a cutter in the half court than Cohen Carr. And so as I look at their team coming into this season, I knew they'd be rugged defensively. I knew that they'd be able to offensively rebound the basketball with Jeremy Fears. I know they'd be able to push it out in transition, looking for early opportunity. The only question that I had is could they shoot 34 to 35% from the three-point line, and obviously they've struggled from the line so far. Although I do think now that Kurt Tang is getting a little bit more comfortable, Trey Fort can make a three. I think that part of their game is in process, and once they get that part of the game, they're going to be very challenging to deal with. And I think my only second thing is late in the game in clutch time. Who's that guy who's going to take over the game for them? Last year, Richardson, and I don't see that guy. So does this team have as high of a ceiling as last year's team, which I thought actually would have been they were just, some possessions away from being a Final Four team? I'm not certain. I think that's to be seen. The three-point shooting and who's the go-to guy at the end of games are the big questions that I still have going forward. But I think those will emerge over time.
What about the Tar Heels? What's their ceiling this year?
Oh, man. I really like that North Carolina Tar Heel team. they're injured right now at the point guard position. Obviously, Seth Trimble, who's a tremendous defensive player, typically guards the best offensive player with their opponents. He's out for a while with a broken arm, so that's going to impact him a great deal. But I don't know if you've seen that kid, Caleb Woodson, 6'10", about 215 pounds, on old school, kind of rugged, but the skilled guy, shoots the three, pulls it off the backboard, defensive backboard, pushes it in transition, right shoulder, left shoulder in the post. He can drive it. He can kick it. They have Jared Stevenson. They have 5 guys on this team. Sheba Davis wanted to get bigger, and he certainly did it through the portal and through recruiting process. He's got 5 guys on this team, 6'10" or better. That's Henry Vessar, who transferred over from Arizona. So he decides the interior for them, shot blocker, runs the floor, lob threat. And so they have a lot of really good pieces as I compare the two with Michigan and North Carolina. Michigan's better defensively. I think they're probably par offensively, but North Carolina is the better shooting team between the two. And so I think they have a pretty high ceiling as well. They're definitely a second weekend team in my estimation, but they have to get tougher, more physical on the defensive end for them to reach the heights that they want to reach.
LaPhonso Ellis, Big Ten Network, Fox Sports, in town for the Fort Myers shootout. LaPhonso, safe travels. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you all for having me. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Miller and Moulton, wrapping things up on this Tuesday before Thanksgiving after this.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I like that you went minivan, Adam. Dinner rolls, Left Twix. I will go dinner rolls. I will make them myself. I will make them from scratch, and they will be delicious like they were last year. I mean, it's not my recipe. I found the recipe. It's a lot of butter. Like, how do you screw up rolls that are just made with a blank ton of butter? I could go both, but I don't know if I feel like it. I make a decent skillet cornbread, but is it overkill if you got enough rolls? And everybody that's at the table, with the exception of my son, is a northerner. And, come on. They'd all rather have rolls. And whoever said earlier, appetizers, we go with how did I'll probably pronounce it wrong. The charcuterie, making the charcuterie board in the shape of a turkey. How about that? I did one with goalposts for a football party the other day. That was fun too. There's the football one there. See the goalposts with the cheese. Huh? Pretty impressive, huh? Daughter and I knocked that out. Orange cranberry bread. Wow. Online. Everything online, Johnny Mac. I'll be honest, I use ChatGPT for a lot of recipes. It does a wonderful job. But let's see, the rolls recipe, I've got it here in my phone, in my Thanksgiving recipe notes. The buttery bread machine, because I have a bread machine, buttery bread machine rolls recipe from food.com. See, Deadstroke, I'm not knocking it because I'm not a big fan of cocktail wieners, but I'm not knocking the meatballs. But I don't think that the appetite, like hot meat before turkey, doesn't make sense to me. That's a personal thing. It's not a knock. I don't want anybody to take it that way. David's grinding today. He's tired. I don't blame him. It's a long Monday, Tuesday. I can't make it up for the whole game he works, and he's got to stay up another hour or so after just to get home and do the damn starting five. I probably should be nicer and do the starting five on Tuesdays for him, but I'm not that nice. I would love to, Johnny Mac. The wife and daughter both hate squash and zucchini. Drives me nuts. Because I would have gotten squash and zucchini from Big Jimmy there. He's got that too.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
The home stretch on this Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. If you missed Pat Kirwan, JP Shadrick, LaPhonso, Ellis, go to millerandmoulton.com and download what you missed. Tomorrow, wow, who don't we have on the show? Got to jam a whole half a week, 60% of a week into a show. Lee Sterling with his picks will make ours.
Man, am I picking games tomorrow. I am picking games like side dishes at a big Thanksgiving.
Well, we may have to bump Seth Everett or Roy Cummings or Bud Elliott or Chris Perkins.
No, I'm not going to give a lot of insight tomorrow, David, because let's be honest, my picks suck. Why should I explain who I'm picking? Might as well just put my games out there for people to go the other way.
Well, same here, Mark. Same. I've had 2 winning weeks all year.
I've had a few more than that, but I mean, it's been 3-2, 2-3, 3-2, 2-3. Oh, 1-4. Way to go. And I think I had an 0 for this year. I did have an 0 for 5 as well. Big conversation during that last commercial break. Rolls or cornbread? Probably could have thrown that up for a poll question.
I'm making rolls. I'm making rolls. I do a nice skillet cornbread, but I don't feel like it at the end of the day. That's really what it boils down to.
Oh, got to save a couple questions for tomorrow, right?
No, I just meant personally. I'm not doing cornbread. Do you do cornbread, David?
I will consume it, but I mean,
okay. You basically said you'd throw the sweet potato casserole off the table if you could. So I didn't know.
Yeah, no. I like cornbread. I mean, the way you asked the question, you asked it as if, I've ever been in a house in which it was made from scratch. And I just think that that's hysterical.
No. I'm just saying, your disdain for sweet potato casserole. No. I didn't know if you had the same disdain for cornbread.
No.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
All right. We start today in 1920, where WTAW in College Station, Texas, was the first to broadcast football play-by-play. Woody Woodpecker debuted today in 1940. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer appears on the charts today in 1949. Gene Autry singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Isn't it a little early? It's not Thanksgiving yet. Maybe in 49 we'd already had Thanksgiving. Then it's acceptable. Today in 76, on Thanksgiving, OJ rushed for 273 yards against Detroit. And that night at the Winterland Ballroom in San Francisco, the band had their farewell concert. Guests included Neil Young, Joni Mitchell, Van Morrison, and Ringo Starr. Scorsese used the concert film to make The Last Waltz. Thomas Hearns made his professional debut today in 1977, earning a knockout in 2 rounds. Today in 79, Madden and Summerall for the first time together. The pairing would last 22 years as a football duo. 1980, Sugar Ray Leonard regains the welterweight crown when Duran quits in the 8th round. The No Mas fight at the Superdome in New Orleans. First fight, tight, smaller ring. Leonard wanted to fight Duran. Bad move. Bigger ring. Leonard embarrassed him.
If you ever get a chance, though, to see the first fight, watch it. You'd be surprised. This is Duran in his prime, and Sugar Ray traded punches with him. Okay? Sugar Ray was much tougher than you think. Sugar Ray more than held his own. He lost a very close decision in Montreal fighting Duran's way. It was a terrific fight.
Today in 1986, actually 3 weeks after a Lebanese magazine reported it, well, we let everybody know about the Iran-Contra deal, that we were selling arms to Iran and using the proceeds to fund the Contras in Nicaragua.
What? We were doing what?
You gotta be kidding me.
No, come on.
2018, Phillip Rivers sets an NFL single-game record, completing 25 straight passes in a blowout win over Arizona. The previous record was 22 straight, set by Mark Brunell and David Carr. He also would set the single-game record for completion percentage, completing 96.6% of his passes. And today in 2020, Caitlin Clark made her college debut for Iowa, 27, 8, and 4 in a win over Northern Iowa. Andrew Carnegie, Hockey Hall of Famer Eddie Shore, Baseball Hall of Famer Joe DiMaggio, singer Percy Sledge, and John F. Kennedy Jr. would have all celebrated birthdays today. Joe Gibbs is 85. John Larroquette is 78. Would you put Night Court in the Gary Player category of sitcoms, or is that giving it too much credit? Very underrated. Very underrated.
very underrated. I would put it in the Larry Nelson category.
Okay. All right. I like that.
3 majors for Larry Nelson, 2 PGAs. All right. I would put it in that category. I will say, though, the cast was incredible.
Night Court or Barney Miller?
Barney Miller close.
Bucky Dent, 74. Bernie Kosar, 62. Chris Carter is 60. Christina Applegate is 54. Donovan McNabb, 49. Joey Chestnut's 42. And this was literally listed on the site that I pulled all this information from. Considered greatest competitive eater in history. Would you give him that? Or did the fact that Kobayashi got thrown out of the league put an asterisk next to Chestnut?
Well, he went LIV, Mark. Okay, and that's going to affect your historical standing.
Jalen Waddle's 27, and Blake Corum from the Rams is 25. What did I miss, David?
Just one thing, because you mentioned John F. Kennedy Jr., and that today was his birthday. It was today he turned 3, and they whisked his father's casket by him, and he had a whole nation in tears because he turned around and saluted it as they buried President Kennedy at Arlington.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Well, for the good, we go to Fort Myers and the South Trail Fire Protection and Rescue Service District. Apparently, residents heard chirping sounds coming from the soffit of an apartment building. Firefighters arrived at the Park Crest and Lakes apartments to find freshly hatched ducklings on the roof. The firefighters managed to safely retrieve all 6 ducks and reunited them with their mother. That's where everybody goes, aww. For the bad, we go to Pennsylvania, where it could have been much worse in Markleysburg when Cole Freeze was outside the Family Dollar waiting for his father to finish shopping. That's when a bear started charging the 11-year-old. The panicked boy ran through the front doors, being chased by a bear. He made it in the store. The bear went by the door. The cashier freaked out along with the 11-year-old as they jumped on the counter watching the bear's movements. She grabbed her coat, her keys, her phone, and with the 11-year-old ran out of there and got in the car. The bear, moments later, made it in the store and was on the counter where the 2 of them were waiting. Finally, the ugly. We go to Maple Lake, Minnesota, where a 55-year-old school bus driver, well, he was driving the kids to school when a student told a resource officer for Maple Lake Public Schools that their bus driver smelled like alcohol. The 55-year-old driver was taken to the company's service garage and questioned by a deputy who observed the driver had watery eyes and confirmed the student's claim that he smelled like booze. The man said he wasn't drinking, but he had some NyQuil that morning.
Right.
He barely passed the illegal limit, if you will, of 0.082. That's 0.002 over the legal limit in Minnesota. And that, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly. On today, Tuesday, November 25th, here on Miller and Moulton. It's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, hiring new officers, stopping drunk drivers, great pay, unbelievable benefits, and overtime opportunities available for police officer jobs and other jobs in the Cape Coral Police Department. You can go to
CapeCops.com. That's CapeCops.com.
There you have it.
College football today and tonight. Maction. The 49th consecutive day of football in this great nation. And then we will take a day off to get ready for the Thanksgiving football weekend, for the Thanksgiving feast. But at 4:30 today, it's Bowling Green at UMass. That's 0-11 UMass. 4:30 on ESPNU. Come on, have a heart.
Oh, I want Bowling Green to win by 60. I want UMass to be the example for all of the schools out there at the FC level to not do this. I don't get it. It's been a failure for UMass jumping. They were a perennial playoff team in the FCS level. They are now there are like 60 teams in the division below UMass that are ranked above of them. They're awful. They've gone from a good team at one level to being horrible at another.
The worst, right? They're 15.5-point underdogs at home. ESPNU, 4:30. Western versus Eastern. Michigan, that is. Western, a 7.5-point favorite, 7:30 tonight on ESPN2. Only one hockey game. That's it. One. Edmonton hosting Dallas. They're just getting ready for when they meet in the conference finals for the third straight year. Although not really.
Wow.
Edmonton.
Yeah. If Colorado's not in the conference finals this year, something went horribly wrong with the
Yes,
Avs.
I know. But Edmonton and Dallas have played the last 2 years.
I know.
Yeah, right now Edmonton wouldn't make the playoffs, but they've been off to slow starts before. NBA Cup, Mark, it's fantastic. The NBC Peacock doubleheader early is Orlando at Philly. That's 8 o'clock on NBC. And then for those east of the Mississippi, 11 o'clock on Peacock, it's Clippers-Lakers. So there you have it.
All right. I don't have these listed as NBA Cup games. Are you sure they're NBA Cup games? I mean, that's important, David.
It says here NBA Cup group play.
Okay. All right. Usually on my service it says it, and it doesn't today, so I'm a little confused. We'll go with yours.
Where do you want to start with college hoop? I mean,
we start at 1 o'clock, East Carolina and Michigan State. I'll be there.
I know, and I hear you have good seats.
I do.
Tennessee, Houston are playing 6 o'clock on TNT. They're ranked. Michigan and Auburn are facing one another 8:30 on TNT. They're ranked. All right, you name it. Good teams in action today and tonight. A ton of college hoops. Hell, just in the Sunshine State. Never mind the rest of the country.
So there you have it. That's what's going on today and tonight in the sports world. We've had 3 poll questions today. They've all been about Thanksgiving, how you cook your turkey, roasted, fried, or smoked, mashed potatoes or stuffing, and then we throw some sides out there, and I left off mac and cheese on purpose. Your sweet potato casserole, your green bean casserole, your collard greens. What do you choose? Tomorrow, we'll figure out some more poll questions. Our guests will have guests. We will have so many people on the show tomorrow.
I just want to throw this out there. I like St. Bonaventure in the points against North Carolina. They're getting 12.5. They're 5-0. They're not bad. They've got a couple of Euros. All right. I think the Bonnies give them a game. Just saying. Right. I know North Carolina's athleticism and the whole deal. As LaPhonso Ellis said, a couple of guys hurt. I don't know. I think the Bonnies give them a game. They're getting 12.5.
So there you have it. Little college hoop today. We'll set up a great football weekend tomorrow on Miller and Moulton.
This weekend, Artisans Unite, the artistry of fine jewelry.
And the artistry of fine dining at our favorite Sales in Naples.
With your Diamond District purchase of $2,500 or more, you'll receive $1,000 unforgettable dining experience at Sales.
Where flavors of Europe join and every detail is a masterpiece.
Celebrate brilliance in jewelry this weekend at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The 2025 Industry Appreciation Awards in Fort Myers have wrapped up, but the celebration of business excellence continues, hosted by the Lee County Economic Development Office, Horizon Council, and Horizon Foundation. This annual event honors the innovators, job creators, and community builders driving the region forward. Visit industryappreciationawards.com to see this year's winners and learn how local businesses are shaping a stronger, more resilient economy for Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for
Mark
details.
Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton